Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We're here to plug you in to the world of professional wrestling. I'm Crust and I'm here with Keeney and Fisher.
Hey guys.
Firstly, I'd like to say a massive thank you to all our new subscribers. There have been millions and millions. Well, actually about 170, but we're really chuffed about that. And that's just in the last few days. So thank you very much for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Really helps us. Give us a little like on some of our videos. We're really chuffed. We really can't wait to share more of our wrestling content with you. Currently, we've got lots going on. We've got our predictions for WrestleMania Backlash. We've got Keeney's fantastic GM mode from WWE 2K22, which is fantastic. So much going on. A massive back catalogue of our old podcasts if you really fancy listening to them all. But yeah, can't wait to get stuck into this week's wrestling. What we got going on is a review of WWE, starting with, actually we're going to crack out some news from Fax Fisher. Can't forget that. He'd definitely correct me if I don't mention that. Then we're going to go into NXT and then finish off with AEW. So Fax Fisher, I think we should start with your news segment.
Yeah, so there's two bits of news and they're in relation to each other really anyway. So there's some releases at the end of last week. So again, it always happens just after we record the pod, it seems. So it's all old news by the time we get around to it, but it's always worth talking about. So 10 NXT stars released and one who wanted to leave but hasn't yet been granted their release. So we'll talk about the ones that did get released first. And I know you, Krusty, you in particular have strong opinions on one particular person here. So I'll just read the list out of names so that we know who there was.
Then
so
I can tear into it.
Yeah, so there was Dakota Kai, Malcolm Bivens, Dexter Loomis, Persia Pirotta, Raylan Devine, Draco Anthony, Vish Kanya, Mila Milani, Blair Baldwin, and Harland. So yeah, Krusty, you can crack on with that if you want.
So some of them, I suppose, not really a surprise because it wasn't being used, but someone, I can't say I'm surprised, but I'm just disappointed. So this is going to be my skid mark of the week. Each of us have a skid mark with something we really don't like from this week's World of Wrestling. And then we also have a top mark. So our favorite thing from the weeks of wrestling can be from any brand, any show, could be something just outside, like this is releases for me. So I'm really disappointed that Dakota Kai has not been utilized properly. I feel she's been in NXT a long time. She's been brilliant in ring, out of ring. I really think she should have been brought up to the main roster probably last year. Once she'd finished a feud with Raquel Gonzalez, who has been brought up, so that's a positive. I think she should have been taken up to the main roster. I think they really needed her in the women's division, especially at the time. Probably less apparent at the moment, but when she should have came up, I think it was in a bit of a dire state. Just so disappointed. The fact that she also never got to wear that NXT women's title belt, I think is an absolute disgrace. So just a real waste of a talent. On the flip side, I hope she then gets snapped up by, I hope it's AEW, just because I'm an avid watcher of AEW, and I think she'd do really well there. But yeah, just quite sad and disappointed for her and for us.
Yeah, I have to echo your sentiments there. I think Dakota Kai was the biggest shame. Like you say, the fact she was never champion, she was tag champ, but she was never the NXT champion is mad. And I know she did work some main event shows for the main roster, but obviously they just didn't see enough in her to call her up.
I don't know if it was her or them that didn't want it, but yeah, something went amiss there.
Yeah, well, yeah. Either way, she didn't make the step up, and you'd think she would want to. But who knows with that one? I mean, these releases actually came out whilst we were at WWE Live this time last week. So if we weren't live, we'd have been recording the pod whilst the releases were coming out. So they always come out at the worst times for us personally. The other ones I think that were surprising was Harland. I was a bit shocked because I thought they could have used him in this Joe Gacy storyline. And I think they did the first week, and then he wasn't. And I think we even mentioned on last week's pod, like, where's Harland? He hasn't appeared for a few weeks. And it's just a weird one for him because, you know, we thought maybe they would transition into Harland v Breaker. Or maybe we thought at the start, I think we even were debating whether Harland was the person to go after the NXT title. And so the fact that they've released him is a strange one as well.
very odd, isn't it? It's like they almost didn't give him a chance because they used him in this weird storyline, which we wasn't too keen on. But maybe if he'd have actually got in the ring, I know at one point people were comparing him to Brock Lesnar. He hasn't even got going, has he? And as you say, they included him in this story. It's almost like it's ran out of steam, and they thought, well, we'll just complete the match, and then that's it. We'll just ignore it from there.
Yeah. I mean, I echo everything he said really about Dakota Kai, Krusty. It's a real shame she never got a proper run with she never had at all a run with the NXT Women's title, which I find baffling. But not only that, her 2 tag team title runs were very short. I think one of them was like 2 days and one of them was like a day. So it just goes to show that they
I
never
think we skid
really
marked actually the second run, didn't we? Because it was completely pointless.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they
Took the belts off of them almost instantly.
It was very odd. I think we all predicted them to lose at the pay-per-view. They won at the pay-per-view and then they lost them back on NXT. It was very weird. But yeah, I mean, I echo your thoughts. I hope she finds her feet somewhere. I think her going to AEW would be a no-brainer. She would add, their women's division could still do with more recognizable faces and names and top tier talent, and I think Dakota Kai would tick those boxes for them, to be honest. So I think they should get her. The other ones I was more surprised by, I know Keeney mentioned Haaland. I kind of saw that coming when he was taken off TV. If anyone was going to be released, I'm not that surprised. The ones I was a little bit surprised by were Malcolm Bivens. We later heard that he wasn't willing to sign a new deal, which may have been part of the reason, but a great talent, a really good manager, someone that I think, again, it wouldn't surprise me if AEW likes using managers and mouthpieces, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if they get Malcolm Bivens.
He's fantastic. So I'd love that to happen.
And the other one for me is a slight surprise is Persia Pirotta, purely because they did use her a lot. She was on TV every week. She's in a tag team with Indy Hartwell, who they kept hold of. She was with Duke Hudson, who they've kept hold of. And for me, when she got in the ring, she looked decent. She looked like a powerhouse. I thought she had potential.
It's almost like they put those 4 together and they were thinking, right, we're going to keep 2 of these. Let's see who we want to keep.
Yeah, bizarre.
But that's the other one is Dexter Lumis.
The other one is Dexter Lumis, really.
Because we've had an on-screen wedding with him. I mean, I think Dexter Lumis in the character they gave him was very limited. I don't really know. Dexter Lumis could never go on the main roster, could he? The way his current character, the way it was, it just wouldn't have worked on the main roster. So I guess there was always a limit with Dexter Lumis. In terms of Dexter Lumis as a character being released isn't actually a surprise to me, but the fact he was in that storyline, Index were a kind of a big thing over the last few months in NXT, and then to do that, I mean, at least they did kind of, throw some attention on it on this week's NXT, which we'll get to later. So it wasn't completely ignored, but
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, just a surprise.
I'm disappointed for the guy to lose his job, but in terms of watching him as a character, I'm not fussed about Dexter Lumis. For me,
I completely agree with you, Fish.
Doing it, I enjoyed him
in the way.
Had a very short-term life cycle. Because they either had to repackage him soon as something else, or because really he was never going to go up to the main roster and do anything with that gimmick. And in NXT, it was getting stale as well. So, from an on-screen character point of view, I'm not that disappointed about. And really, Haaland, I won't miss that much because he kind of just stood in the background. But I'm still sad for them, obviously, to lose their jobs. But for me, the 3 that I will miss is I definitely miss Dakota Kai and Malcolm Bivens. I think Persia Pirotta had real potential as well. So those 3 really surprised me, and especially also the lack of women's tag teams in NXT at the moment. And then you get rid of half of one of your tag teams as well. They do this constantly. And then Wonder One is no tag teams. So that is another baffling reason for me. And when I saw her name there, I was expecting Indy Hartwell's to come as well. I'm thankful it didn't, and Duke Hudson's potentially. I'm thankful it didn't, but it's just odd to me, that one.
Yeah, fair enough. And then we mentioned also there was someone who was asked for his release, but yet to be granted it. Maybe won't be granted it as he appeared on TV this week.
Yeah.
As Fisher sends into darkness there is
he's joining Judgment Day.
It's too bright, and
that was too bright. He's having proper lighting issues.
Can't make his mind up.
It's because I haven't got light on. It's too sunny outside.
As you can see, we've got the high tech equipment here at Recharge Wrestling.
We do
the blinds.
So as I was mentioning, Roderick Strong has asked for his release from NXT and has been seemingly denied it because he appeared on TV this week. I mean, I think it is sensible to not release him, considering where his other 3 former members of Undisputed Era currently are.
It just completes the batch.
You would think I'd
it?
just throw Roderick Strong and throw him in the group, yeah. So that would complete the band. So I get why they haven't released him. And I wonder where kind of the timeline falls to him asking his release and then deciding to release Malcolm Bivens, because for Diamond Mine, who I think have been quite a successful group in NXT, to get red to
this version
for the leader, in-ring leader, to request a release, and then the mouthpiece to be released. Okay, I know Bivens wanted to be released as well, but you know, they obviously had to make a judgment call to keep one of them, and yeah, maybe Roderick Strong was.
I'd love to know what's going on. Whether Roderick Strong is due to maybe move up to the main roster or something, and he's almost said, you know what, I don't want it. I'm seeing what they're doing with the likes of Ciampa, and it's not gone too good. I know he's on screen, but it's not gone amazing. He might be thinking, you know what, I know I can get on TV every week in AEW, so why would I want to stay here in WWE?
Interestingly, Roderick Strong has appeared on NXT UK recently. He's been appearing down. He had a couple of matches, a couple of weeks back to back.
Brilliant for us to watch.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if
really
that means anything, but I just wonder. I'm confused by it, and I think we may have mentioned. I don't know if we mentioned this in person or on the pod, but about maybe the black and gold NXT guys being most susceptible to being released, and I think we mentioned Rod Strong at the time, and he has since asked for his release because these are the guys. They're, you know, they seem to be trying to push out to make way for these up. We've got a new, you know, breakthrough women's tournament coming through, so you know, Persia Parata.
And I'm usually of the opinion that they need these guys and women to sort of nurture the younger wrestlers and have feuds with them, but actually they're pulling people down from the main roster, which we love and we think is brilliant. It kind of makes these guys and women redundant.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
so
that is a good point. Yeah.
They don't need them anymore, so they're like, we're not going to pay you when we can have someone we're paying anyway on the main roster come down and do that role. And it actually has a bit more of a buzz, doesn't it? When we see, I mean, we were excited about Natalya, which we haven't been excited about Natalya in a long time since she won the tag titles. So
I think Roddy Strong requesting his release is probably the least surprising news of the year. Like, honestly, all his Undisputed Era friends are in AEW. His wife's in AEW.
He's like he's like a kid looking out the window at his mates playing football, isn't he?
Yeah,
like,
and Diamond Mine, like obviously Malcolm Bivens has been released, but not only that, he was originally in this lineup with Tyler Rust, Hatchaman. I think Arturo Ruas was in it as well. They all got released. So literally that faction has just changed, apart from the Creed brothers. Really, and Ivy Niles, you know, had a little bit of screen time and stuff. Really, apart from the Creed brothers, it's been a bit of a disaster, really. Strong Creed brothers and Bivens were strong enough, but now Bivens has gone as well. So it's like,
could you imagine if he went to that? If Roderick Strong went to AEW and then they got Mouth and Bivens to manage the Undisputed Era?
Yeah, I mean, they don't need him. They don't need a mouthpiece at all. But yeah,
imagine it.
It'd be crazy,
incredible.
But yeah, I mean, it's a shame. That he doesn't want to be there, and I was kind of looking at him on when you know someone doesn't want to be there, and then they appear on TV. You kind of look at them closely and like try and see the sadness in their eyes.
Yeah.
He looks, you know, he was professional enough now, but no, because normally you can't tell, you don't know, you know, you just assume people want to be where they are, but you know he doesn't, so it's very weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just.
So I think we've probably dwelled on these releases quite a long time now. So
I think we should move on to the
WWE
weekly TV programming as scheduled.
Should we start with Smackdown?
Yeah, why not? So this was a pre-recorded show. So I think Fisher found out some spoilers beforehand. I don't think either of us did. But I mean, no. Krusty, what was your kind of standout moment from Smackdown this week? Slim pickings.
Ricochet beating Shanky. No, I'm joking. That wasn't actually. You know what? There wasn't too much at all. the thing is, I want to find something positive, but I'm
So,
I have a
really
positive if you want to go
struggling.
if you want to come over to me first.
Yeah, let's go
on.
with the Fisher. If you've got
Because
something
if you want to start on a
positive,
positive,
Yeah.
let's start with
the
something good.
negative of the news was kind of negative anyway. So
Yeah, let's be happy.
this is the thing I actually knew about, spoiler wise, but I knew we were getting Drew and Roman. But I enjoyed the cage match between Drew and Sami Zayn. I thought that was pretty good. That was a positive for me from SmackDown, even though I did know the result of it, because I knew Drew was moving on. So I saw something about Drew beating Sami and then being the opponent for Roman, setting up on this show. Didn't know that much other details. But yeah, it was a good cage match, I thought. It wasn't like anything special. I like the fact they had Gulak as the timekeeper, like throughout the show on this cage match, and then obviously he was setting up the main event stuff, which we'll get to later.
Well, he's doing different jobs, isn't he? Because
yeah,
he was a interviewer, then he was Adam Pearce's assistant, ring announcer. Now he's the timekeeper.
So he's done different things, but there was a big suplex from the top, and what I liked about it is we talked about how we hate the end of cage matches when people escape. Here we got a Claymore to win it clean for Drew.
Yeah. I don't mind escape as long as it's over the top.
Yeah, if it's over the top.
And Sami kept trying to get over the top, which is
fine.
fine.
They didn't tease the actual door at all, did they?
I hate the door. The door should be sealed.
So I liked the booking of the cage match. I thought it wasn't anything blown away special, but it was decent enough, and it had a good conclusion to a story that they dragged out too long, but it ended up being, I think, at least good. I'll praise that from SmackDown.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of that opening match. I mean, we might as well move on to Drew getting involved. We had the RK Bro and Usos contract signing, and then we had Reigns. I think he came down. I think he was in the ring to start with. And basically he tore up the contract, and then Drew came down, and that led to this brawl. And then we got Heyman backstage kind of say to Adam Pearce, we should have a 6-man for Backlash, which we'll get onto when we get to Raw as well, because it's probably more of a Raw thing.
That's a bit more tasty.
The match wasn't announced at this point on SmackDown. No. But it's nice. Again, we were literally watching Drew v Roman probably as this happened on TV. So we knew we were getting here before.
Just want to say it was announced on SmackDown, the 6-man tag.
See, Fax Fisher.
Was it actually announced? I know Heyman went
Fax Fisher straight
away.
Okay,
it was announced on SmackDown.
Then
Fax Fisher, can you just move your microphone slightly closer to your mouth? Because I can't hear your facts. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Well, let me then, if this is a SmackDown thing, let me get a bit skiddy then, because well, I'm sorry. This is my skid mark this week. And I think this is a lot of wrestling fans' skid mark for the last week, really, is the fact that they have just built up this unified tag team title match since WrestleMania. We were all looking forward to it. We all were thinking, what's this going to mean? We've got one tag team champion that makes complete sense. And then they've just decided to just pull the rug from underneath it. And I don't really see why. I mean, we mentioned a few weeks ago, we had Shinsuke kind of confront Roman. That went nowhere for some reason. Maybe they lost confidence in that and they needed Roman to do something, but it was too short notice to put Roman in a feud. I mean, if we get the unification match down the line, which they have been advertising for 3 or 4 weeks, then this is acceptable, I guess. But if we don't get a unification match,
they're not thinking it through, are they? Feels a bit like they're changing their mind constantly about what they want to do.
Yeah, it's just strange booking. And I do get, you can't have Drew and Roman one-on-one at WrestleMania Backlash with like 2 weeks build. It's not quite enough.
No.
We they did that with Seth and Roman for the Rumble, but at least there was the history there. There's not
it goes back
much
to
history.
They should have just stuck with the Shinsuke feud for now. I think they should have started the Drew feud after here. Do Nakamura here and then heat Drew up for Hell in a Cell or Money in Bank or whatever.
I wonder somewhat if the live tour messed this up slightly, because they were so desperate to draw people in. They announced the matches and we were all like, why is Drew facing Roman? It makes no sense. It would have been a bit odd, I guess, if he was in a feud with Shinsuke at the same time. It doesn't make sense. They've just sort of gone, we don't want to pull the trigger on this that early. Let's backtrack and just make it a massive match. I mean, it's going to be a good match, isn't it? It's
the match is going to be amazing.
Concept's good. It's just
the match will be really good. And if they'd have done this originally, I don't think it would have been that big a deal.
Yeah, that's the point.
But it's just the fact they advertised it as title unification, and I've seen a lot of people say that this was the match they're most looking forward to at Backlash because it had big stakes. There's not that much on the card. There's only one title match on the card. Mm-hmm. This match would have been a title unification and something to look forward to, but now it's just a random 6-man tag. And Backlash now feels like the most filler show. That's the problem. There's only really one match on there with proper stakes on it.
Sure. After Mania, though, it is kind of a filler show, isn't it?
It always is, but it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. It really doesn't. Well,
also, it's just a shame because they rarely get us invested in the tag division, WWE in general, for a long time now. And this is maybe the biggest tag match they've had for the unification of the belts. The Bloodline, we've got RK Bro, like they're both heated up massively. It's two of the two top teams going head to head, unified it, and I think you can main event Backlashes with a tag team match.
I think we're going to get this in Hell in a Cell, and I think that's why. I think they've realised that's going to be an absolute scorcher to put this.
Maybe, but you'd think by Hell in a Cell, wouldn't we be ready for Drew and
we have to have Roman defend those titles. We can't have Roman have both titles and not defend them. It's been too long already, in my opinion. One pay-per-view with 2 titles.
It's a SummerSlam. It's a SummerSlam main event, isn't it?
They should have held off.
They can have more than one.
Yeah, I just don't think you need to have involved Drew and Roman in this tag team feud yet.
I think they've gone too early with the feud. I really do. Especially if we are getting the UK. We predicted that we'd get it at the UK show. I'm thinking now that it's impossible for them to drag it out for
SummerSlam
4 months.
Hell in a Cell first match. SummerSlam's where Drew beats Roman for a title, and then we're going to get Tyson Fury randomly challenge Drew for the title.
I was going to say that's probably the way they're going
the
now.
UK pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think
the unification match will be an absolute scorcher in Hell in a Cell. Uso versus RK Bro.
Yeah, if they do that, then yeah.
Be an RKO from the top of the cell. I don't know, through the cell.
Yeah, no, it will be amazing. It will be amazing.
But yeah, I think it's a fair skid mark because of the way they booked it.
Yeah, I honestly, I must obviously it was Smackdown. I must have. The fact I must have finished, and I was just like, "What? They're not cancelling the match. Of course, they're not cancelling the title match, but they did."
It was advertised sort of just randomly in between. I wrote it in between a segment. So
I mean, the one thing I don't mind about it is I quite like that Roman's the guy who ripped up the contract to be like, "Oh no, screw that." Like that's kind of within his character, but
I liked Paul Heyman's promo. I thought Paul Heyman's promo was actually really good, but like the consequences of it were bad.
It's the thing. It isn't even the performances of the people involved. It's not like, it's just the booking decision to do this is what the issue is. But like you say, the match itself will be great. I'm sure it will probably steal the show on WrestleMania Backlash. It will surely main event because I don't think there's much else that could, but who knows? That's another discussion.
You could have Ronda Charlotte main event.
I think that really that should main event, but now it's a 6-man.
You could.
I think they should have the women's title match main event.
I mean, they could, but I just don't know. I mean, again, maybe it's just personal preference.
I don't disagree with you that to me it doesn't matter too much because I'm a little bit bored of the.
Yeah, I personally don't. I'm not looking forward to seeing this match.
I think it's a bit of an Should we talk about this bit?
Should we move on?
It's the main event of the
show.
So
we're on to the But yeah, I in all honesty, I think just to finish that, I think it would be an insult to the women's title if it's the only title on a card to not have a main event. That you can't.
That's
especially if Ronda Rousey involved in it. It's an I Quit match.
It is a huge match. It's been drawn out and got a bit strange.
Yeah.
But beat the clock. I didn't mind this. I don't mind the purpose of it. What I didn't enjoy, I mean, I like the fact that we got like Aaliyah in the ring. We got
Aaliyah and Shotzi in the main events slot.
Aaliyah was looking great until like the last bit. It was like she waited to be put in a submission. It was really weird. I don't know if you noticed that. It was like she was just sort of standing in the ring.
Yeah.
Fine. She wasn't like on the floor or dazed, and then just Charlotte put her in a submission. I was like, it just did not flow.
Yeah,
because they were trying to get that timing clock so on point. it looked stupid.
Yeah, so I disagree slightly. I mean, I agree with that, but I actually don't like beat the clock challenges. I don't like. I just don't see the point in them. I just really, because I think it really puts down the people they're against.
Oh,
So
definitely.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, it definitely does that.
Aaliyah and Shotzi are in the main event segment of SmackDown, but they're not even there to compete in a match. They're there to see who can get beat quickest.
I thought Aaliyah looked okay though. She got some offense in.
Yeah, I think Shotzi ran for most of her match from memory, but it really. So Aaliyah and Shotzi are now more demeaned than they were if they weren't on TV. So that's why I would have had it against Gulak both times. I'd have had Gulak. Like, okay, you got to try and make Gulak.
We don't mind demeaning Gulak.
Because that's what's happened, and that's Gulak is in this role, and he's been involved with the two. So I think that would have made sense rather than throwing two women on your roster that you clearly don't care about, because you've made that perfectly clear by putting them in this position. And also, what did they achieve by beating the clock? Just bragging rights?
That was my problem with it. I was going to say, I don't mind beat the clock challenges if they pick normally what happens is they do that and then the winner picks the stipulation or something like that. But the stipulation was already decided, so there was no real purpose to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you on that bit, and I definitely agree that it always makes the wrestlers look. If they're going to do it, they should do it with like random unsigned talent.
Yeah. Throw jobbers in. We had a jobber fight Raquel on the show.
Even though it's nice to see Aaliyah and Shotzi on TV, it's still harsh on them. The bit I did like was afterwards when Charlotte hit Drew Gulak with the ring bell. I like that bit. Yeah, I thought that was a good sort of Charlotte and Drew. I'm more interested in Charlotte and Drew Gulak.
I'm all here for Drew Gulak getting beaten up by Charlotte and Ronda. I can watch that all the time. Yeah. But the problem I have with it, so again, I'll go back to Aaliyah and Shotzi again. But why should we ever care about them? Because they could have spent that time with Aaliyah and Shotzi. Okay, earlier on in the show, maybe build up a rivalry between them. We saw them compete live at WWE Live in London, and they looked okay. The crowd wasn't into it, but why would the crowd be behind either of those two people? Because they've not been portrayed on TV as serious competitors.
I was behind it. I was enjoying it.
You were.
I'm an Aaliyah and Shotzi fan.
Yeah, I mean it was fine for what it was, wasn't it? And I think just tell us a story between these two people rather than throw them to. And again, it's just that thing of they care about so many people, usually one or two, and then everyone else is just food to those two to make those two look strong. It's just a shame for Aaliyah and Shotzi, but it is what it is, isn't it? And yeah, I like what match is interesting. At least we've got that.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Hopefully main eventing. So what else did we have on the show?
Yeah, well, I briefly mentioned Raquel. She won a squash match against Kat.
Yeah, we mentioned we liked Guns doing that, and I said I hope we get the same thing with Raquel for just a couple of weeks, and we did. So that was good. Yep. One thing I didn't like was I was a bit concerned about a promo before the match. Her gimmick was a little bit different to what it was in NXT. But I was a bit concerned about that bit. But the actual match itself,
I think they test the water, don't they, for a few weeks? So see how the crowd reacts. So I'm hoping they'll nail it. Yeah,
it was okay.
I mean, there was nothing special, but these squash matches never are. As you say, they need to build her
showcase.
Up, she looked powerful though, which is what I want her to be because she's a phenomenal power wrestler.
Yeah, so she had something different particularly on SmackDown, I think. We had Ricochet. I know you mentioned it earlier as a joke, Krusty, but we got Ricochet v Shanky for the Intercontinental title.
The only thing I took from this is it looks like Shanky might split from Jinder.
Yeah, that was what I noted as well. So after the match, Shanky walks off looking annoyed. I don't see the point in splitting them at all.
Yeah, I think that will harm both of them.
Same here. Jinder's not going to get anything out of it, and Shanky's certainly not going to get anything out of it, in my opinion. No. So,
but I guess Ricochet's beating a big guy.
I think it's a good win for Ricochet. Yeah,
it was a roll-up win, but that's fine in this scenario.
On a huge guy like
on
Shanky,
a huge guy when he's a tiny
need
guy.
This, and he's really athletic, isn't he, Ricochet? So I can buy. I don't like roll-ups, as we know here. I'm not a roll-up fan, but I think when you're going to do one, this is the time to do it with a sort of nimble Ricochet wrestler against a hugely powerful wrestler, sort of twice his size. So yeah, I didn't mind it, but again, nothing nothing fantastic, was it? I mean, the match we saw Ricochet in at London live last week was absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I can't wait to see more of that from Ricochet.
Hopefully, he gets a proper decent opponent soon for that title.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a one-on-one match with,
Butch.
Butch or Sheamus again, or you could do Gunther at some point.
Well, Sami Zayn was who he faced at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's quite a few people on SmackDown he can face, but they're not doing that at the moment. They're just kind of having him run through lower card guys, which is fine. It builds him up it builds his reign up.
Keeps him on TV.
You know
what,
what?
doesn't it?
He's on TV and he's in title matches every week, defending the belt. So
Exactly,
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Brilliant. Something I did actually really enjoy, which I forgot about it, but it actually made me laugh, was Corbin having happy talk with the trophy as his guest. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know why, but I've never seen that done before. I just thought it was funny. But then it just goes the way this always goes. Madcap attacked Corbin, didn't he, and got the upper hand over him.
Yeah, he had a sledgehammer, didn't he?
Yes. Triple H wasn't it? Although the way he lobbed it, I thought, wow, I'm glad he didn't hit him with that.
And then that match was officially confirmed for Backlash. So
yeah,
I think it's the only match on Backlash. I mentioned it in my predictions video. It's the only match on Backlash that we haven't actually seen before. I don't know if it's one people actually care about, but at least it's a fresh match.
Could be a good match if they actually go for
I
it.
care about it, I think. I'm into Madcap.
It's a difficult one because Madcap's been booked very strong. Do you slow him down? I know you guys have already done your prediction videos and I'm due, but do we slow him down and give Corbin
I was really torn on this match.
a win, or do you?
Yeah, it's not
It
easy.
depends if they want to continue this feud. I don't know where they're going to go if we don't continue it.
I think it's one of those. I think we'll see on Friday, and I think that will make predicting it
Maybe
easier.
I'll do my predictions Saturday.
Because I think that will make. I think I mentioned that in my predictions video. I think we'll see what on SmackDown. See, gets the upper hand, and we might see something. Because at the moment, it's really hard one to call.
The fact Madcap got the upper hand last week, I think Corbin's going to get the beat down this week, which would generally suggest
Madcap wins.
Madcap wins if we're going on true WWE style.
Yeah.
Anything else from SmackDown?
Yeah. Sorry to end SmackDown on a skid mark, but here it comes. No. So it's just the feud. I mean, I've mentioned it before. The New Day feud with Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch. It's been going on now for like 2 months. They had a match at Mania.
Yeah, before Mania.
It's going on about a month before that. They had like 4 or 5 matches on TV before that. So Butch had 2 roll-up defeats in the last couple of weeks. And then here we had, I think it was Woods beating Ridge by roll-up.
Yeah, it was.
Which, I mean, it feels like Woods' finisher is just a roll-up at the moment. And then, they kind of saved it a little bit by having Sheamus then go on the mic and say, I'll show you how it's done. And he had a little match with Kofi, which was decent enough.
And a bro kick and a win.
Just bro kick and won clean on Kofi, which, that's better than what they've been doing. But where is this feud going? What is the end goal here? Big E's gone, so the 6-man tag is off the table because of his injury. Like, they're just going back and forth as a team, like picking up one win, then another. There's roll-up. It's just roll-ups mainly. Like, what is the point of this? That's what I've basically written down on my notes. Where is this feud going? Because I don't really, other than the Butch part of the story where he keeps running off, there's nothing else to it really. And Butch wasn't even part of it really this week, was he? So
no, he wasn't on SmackDown.
No, exactly. So it's very strange. I don't really get where it's going, and it's gone on too long now.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's been on a bit long now. Like I said, I don't really see. There's put it this way, there's no matchup they can do which gets me excited for this feud. So yeah, they're at a funny point there.
I think if you had a proper match between Butch and Kofi, I'd look forward to that.
But it's not going to be a proper match, is it? Though.
No, that's a shame.
It won't be. It would just be a silly one. Should we move on to Raw?
I think we should.
Yeah.
I would love to open this up.
Oh, go.
Go on then.
So I got really excited about this opening scene. Absolute fire. So Roman's in the ring acknowledge me. Straight out of nowhere, double RKO, bang. That's I had to rewind it. It looked incredible. Riddle and Orton to both Usos behind him. I just thought that was just absolutely insane. I loved that straight away. So excited. I know we had a cage match open for Smackdown, but it didn't get me going like this did. Was not expecting this at all. I love the fact that the Bloodline have another team that can stand up to them and actually, rather than Brock just being like this one man dominating machine, which was cool, but it's like an actual team. Just thought this was great. And basically we also had Drew and Roman have like a proper face off here, didn't we? Like 1-to-1. RK Bro backed off, which I thought was a really cool scene.
Yeah, I like that.
Really liked this, and it looks like two real powerful guys squaring off. Really am excited for that feud to take place. Yeah, what did you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I kind of mentioned my thoughts on the 6-man tag in the SmackDown section, but just this segment was good, and it what I will say is I am very excited for the 6-man match, regardless of if they'd never promised us a tag team unification match, this match would be the hottest match, and maybe it even is the hottest match building up to Backlash, because anything Roman does, anything RK Bro do at the moment is like, if you're doing your list of your, what do they call, like the superstar rankings, Roman's number 1. I think RK Bro are number 2 in the whole company. Yeah. I think they're that popular at the moment, RK Bro. So to have all of those guys in a match, and then Drew and Usos, this was a good segment, and like I say, a good way to open up Raw. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed the segment. Just seeing Roman on Raw felt like a treat as well. Like, we just don't see that. We haven't really seen that very much. So for him to come out at the start of the show, like, felt like a big deal, because we don't see them every week. And then, like you say, Drew coming out at the end and actually getting a one-on-one confrontation was really, really cool. And the RKOs just looked awesome. So that was great.
Yeah.
So really enjoyable segment.
It was. Trying to think what
something that sort of changed. I noticed. So we had Street Profits sort of backstage talking to Ezekiel. The fact that they're talking to Ezekiel and then obviously tagged together against KO and Alpha Academy says to me they're staying face.
Yeah.
We were heavily teased a heel turn, weren't we? Obviously it hasn't worked, so they've said, right, let's keep them face. I can't say I'm too opposed to it, because they're a great face team, aren't they? I would have quite liked to see something different from them.
Yeah, I would. Although I think they might have said here that they are like more serious now, and I think there is a slightly different side to them. But I would have actually gone with the heel turn. And again, I think this comes back to that 6-man match. I think if they were going to have if their original plan was to have not unified their belts, they might have had Profits turn heel and go against RK Bro. But now RK Bro are doing something else, and the next best team is Alpha Academy. They need Profits face, so they've changed their mind.
Right. I reckon it's exactly what's happened. They probably they probably built them up in going into Mania, like teasing the heel turn, because they were going to be the team facing RK Bro after Mania, and then they changed the plans to do this Tigers unification feud. So in the end, they just left it with Street Profits. I reckon you're right. I reckon it's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but maybe they'll turn heel down the line. The seeds are there at least.
Yeah, I think they could still turn at some point, but for now. So speaking of that, we got Ezekiel and obviously Street Profits versus Alpha Academy and Kevin Owens. So we got the segment itself. KO comes in and end up throwing a drink in Ezekiel's face, didn't he? One of the red cups.
Yeah. But he's still annoyed about his about him lying about being Elias.
Yeah. And the match itself was a lot of fun, I thought. It was a good 6-man tag team match. Dawkins and Gable had a really good wrestling segment where proper amateur wrestling style. Because I think that's both of their backgrounds. There was a cool triple drop kick on Otis that sent him out the ring. And then the heel was won by Kevin Owens tripping Ezekiel behind the ref's back. And then Gable got a roll-up win. I think it was off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was,
Gabriel
yeah.
rolled up Zeke.
Ezekiel's taken a loss already. Well, I don't know what you guys make of that, but it was only a roll-up and it was heel tactics as well. So
I think it's fine. I don't think
I think
Ezekiel's
this is
someone.
his role.
I don't think you need to be protecting Ezekiel at all. Personally.
I think he's a joke role, isn't he? He's a comedy act.
yeah, I'm fine with it. I just wondered because I think he is getting quite popular. Does it? I don't think it damages him really.
He is, but again, I might mention this last week. I think he has got the perfect sparring partner in Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens can make most people popular. Yeah. Like one of the reasons Ezekiel hasn't said that much in his first few weeks, but it's Owens getting wound up by him claiming to be his brother, which is why people love Ezekiel. So I think it's more from Kevin Owens than what Ezekiel's done.
Yeah,
I think if you put Ezekiel in the exact same role, but have him against, I don't know, I was gonna say Sheamus. I just think of the generic heel. I just don't think it works as well. So I think Kevin Owens has a lot to thank for that.
Definitely.
Personally. Yeah. We also had AJ Styles and Damian Priest in a match, and Priest would be barred from ringside if he lost for the match at Backlash, and he did indeed lose to AJ. So Priest is now barred from ringside. I mean, it was a roll-up win again.
I know, roll-up city, isn't it? Yeah,
a bit too many on this show.
But really, the talking point for this match is the aftermatch bit where Edge came down, Balor came down, helped out AJ, and they two-sweeted.
And that reminds me of the poll I did. I forgot to mention at the start of all. So I did a poll, as I've done a few times now, on Twitter on our Recharge Wrestling account, asking what your favourite thing from Raw was. I left the three options as two segments we haven't spoken about yet, actually. Cody and Seth segment, the women's tag team main event, or this AJ and Finn bit, or you could vote other. But AJ and Finn took the win here with 40% of the vote. Seth and Cody got 31, women's tag 22, and other got 6.7. So yeah, people seem to like the too sweet. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy that, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I think we're going to see the next part of the story at Backlash.
Yeah, and I wonder whether is it too early to turn Finn heel? Do they? Because there is some legs and get some tag matches out of these four guys.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, I think it's too early.
Balor and AJ v Priest and Edge is an absolute insane tag team match. Like let's see that before we turn Balor
then
heel.
Him, yeah.
And then
that's what I would do personally.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if we see Balor help Edge win on Sunday. It wouldn't surprise me.
No.
Yeah.
And I know some people have predicted that already. So
it could do.
With that, the fact that you guys have done your predictions, I can come out with mine now. But I think we're going to see Edge win here through some form of interference. And then I was sort of predicting in my head that AJ was going to then face Edge in a Hell in a Cell. But you could actually have Finn versus AJ Styles at Hell in a Cell if there's a turn, which is an incredible match.
Yeah, you could. And I mean, because so again, you might have already seen my prediction video, and sorry if you have, but I think the fact that Priest is banned from ringside, I think to me that tells me that they are going to have someone else help Edge win. So you're thinking, Priest isn't there, so AJ's got a chance, but then someone else, and maybe it's not even a male superstar. Maybe we get Rhea Ripley or Alexa Bliss. Maybe.
Oh wow!
We've not seen her for a while.
It's funny you should say that. I saw someone like put a picture thing up of a created photo thing today with Alexa Bliss in Judgment Day. She looked, she fitted in the outfit. She looked really fit well. And on the mic, she'd be amazing.
Someone we've not seen for a while. And I think a female member, and we don't see it a lot. We mentioned it with the Bloodline and Naomi, never happened. And I think incorporating a female into a faction like this, I think could be really powerful. Yeah. So Rhea or Alexa, there are two options there they have on Raw. Either of them I would be happy with. I think I would actually pick Rhea if I was picking personally, because I think Rhea could do with that real dark.
Yeah,
we haven't seen that yet properly on the main.
I think she's already turning, isn't she, with the makeup change? That's just what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, you're right. If I was predicting, I would predict Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, she makes more sense.
So I think we may see Rhea turn, and then Rhea turns up, distracts AJ, Edge wins, and then we can still get that tag team match down the line.
Yeah.
And maybe we can have a mixed tag match with Liv Morgan on the other side, if you want. If you want. What about the Miz TV? Again, we had Miz TV with Mustafa Ali.
I'm enjoying Theory and Miz together.
They're great, aren't they? They are great together.
Duo. I like seeing Ali on TV as well. I guess
I was a bit bummed that he lost here, but
it was a 2-on-1.
It was 2-on-1, so you can understand it. And we got the Ciampa attack again afterwards. Yeah, so I think that's the feud they're focusing on with Ali.
Well, that's a bit that confuses me, because I actually think Ciampa feels like a real fourth wheel here. I think, again, for me, the feud I want to see is Ali v3. That's what I want to see. I want to see that match for the title. Actually, I'm not that fussed of Ciampa, what Ciampa's doing right now.
I wonder if Ciampa's coming in because he wants the title shot. And then
maybe, but it just feels like
it
just feels like it's Ali against 3 people right now, and he has no real backup. So it feels a bit.
Yeah. I agree. It definitely feels like an afterthought. And to back up that view, I don't know if you know, but he actually wrestled as a face on main event on the same night. So he in front of the live crowd, he's wrestling as a face on main event, and then playing a heel on Raw. So it just shows they're muddled with what to do with Ciampa, I think.
Yeah, and I think, again, Ciampa could be a member in Judgment Day, but it probably won't be if he's attacking Ali here. Maybe it will be, I don't know. But just feels, to me, it feels like they've really wedged Ciampa into this slot where I don't think you need Ciampa in this storyline, in my opinion. I think...
No, but I am...
Theory and Miz against Ali is enough.
Am pleased. I mentioned it last week that they seem to be finding roles for everyone at the moment. Like, they're using a lot more people. And I think an Ali Ciampa match would be amazing if it's given time to be good. So I am invested in it in that sense. But I agree that the story really is between Theory. Ciampa's not given any explanation either. I don't think that helps. If Ciampa cut a promo and said... last time he cut a promo, it was babyface.
Yep.
In the Ezekiel Ciampa,
he was with Ezekiel,
Kevin Owens thing. So I think we need an explanation of why he's attacking Ali. I think that would help investment in it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, you're right, definitely. Other stuff from Raw, we had. Again, I don't have much on this, so maybe you can take it away, Krusty or Fisher. We had Seth Rollins Appreciation Night, which was
I love that he did that.
Crashed by Cody.
Because obviously we had Randy Orton Appreciation Night last week, so Seth was like, I deserve one. And sort of
he's gold, isn't he?
Laid into Randy Orton.
He's so good,
the whole point of the promo was great.
Yeah, it was. But we had Cody come down again. This is another match that's coming up at Backlash, and I think I know we've seen it before, but it still feels fresh to me, Cody and Seth.
Yeah, I've got no problem with them
awesome,
having. I've got no problem with this going 3 matches if they want to do that, which I think they will.
Yeah,
I've got no problem with that at all.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't think they've even got cut too far beneath the surface of where they can go with this feud yet. I feel like they've started to up the ante with Seth mentioning Dusty a bit here, getting a bit more personal. But I feel like it's not got that bad yet. I feel like this has got layers to go yet. We saw with Seth, I compare it to the Seth and Edge feud last year because it feels similar in terms of the pattern of how it's going. But we had Seth going to.
I was going to say, we're going to see Seth going around to see Brandy and drinking some orange juice or something.
I don't think we're going to get, we're probably not going to get that, but I
He'll go and steal the dog.
There's loads more stuff I think we can go to with Seth and Cody yet that they haven't gone to, and I think that's what keeps it interesting. So yeah, I like this promo here. They had a good.
It's also brilliant to see a very popular heel. I love the fact that Seth still gets chants. His music just gets chanted to him.
Seth's impossible not to like. I think I can't imagine no anyone like disliking Seth Rollins. He's just too good.
People do, but yeah.
No, I know people do, but
I
just can't understand.
Somebody.
It's mainly not WWE fans though. I think WWE fans love him.
Yeah,
that doesn't count. You can't not watch him and dislike him. That's strange.
So got a question for you guys. Do you reckon we'll ever see Cedric Alexander not involved with the Hurt Business somewhere along the line, because he was backstage with MVP. Now he's fighting Lashley. I feel like I only ever see Cedric Alexander on TV when he's fighting Lashley or talking to MVP or involved with those two in some way. Cedric Alexander.
It's funny because they broke up the Hurt Business, but it's like they can't let go of the Hurt Business at the same time.
Do you remember that time where they brought them back for a little bit?
Yeah, it's weird.
Been an absolute. But what I did like is they at least had some build up to this match. So Cedric backstage with MVP, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the problem was Bobby and Shelton, wasn't it? You know, me and you are always." Good.
I did like that. And
like,
I don't know where Shelton was, but doesn't really matter.
I mean, Shelton is, you know, very low down the card. I'm surprised he's not in the 24/7 title picture. Shelton Benjamin. Maybe that's to come. Maybe that's his next spot on the card. But
you need to shake that up. So
I mean, we'll probably see Shelton v Bobby Lashley next week. It'll probably happen. The same thing happen again.
It probably will.
Or Shelton v Omos thing, and Shelton will take Lashley's side or something. We'll see something like that next week, I'm sure. But yeah, I just thought this was good, and again, a nice way. I always like to see Lashley destroy people. Just
that spear nearly cut Cedric in half.
And Cedric sells it brilliantly.
Yeah,
Cedric's such
a good wrestler, isn't he?
Again, Cedric is someone they should be using more on TV because he can sell like mad.
Oh, he's
bloody good.
I'd love to see them put Cedric over on SmackDown and have him as a solo run, and you could do Cedric v Ricochet. Can you imagine how good that would be?
Cedric v Ricochet would be mad. By the way.
They've had I remember they had matches on like main event before when Ricochet was on Raw. Yeah. And apparently they were having like 5-star matches almost on main event.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
And like and they keep going back and forth on Twitter, like we've got to do this again.
Yeah.
Cedric on 205 Live was when 205 Live was actually proper. And they actually
he was. We had his match. He had matches with Ali, his matches with Buddy Murphy, I believe he had as well. But I think with Cedric,
he can talk as well. It's not like he can't.
He can. I actually thought he was good here in his back. I thought this was a good match for Cedric Alexander, and I think you make a good point because I just think you need to get him away from the Hurt Business. Just get him away from Lashley, away from MVP, move him to SmackDown, and let him go on his own because I think he can do it. I don't see why he can't do what Ricochet's doing on SmackDown.
You're right.
I think it's on a similar level to Ricochet, so I think he is.
He's actually probably got more charisma than Ricochet as well, in on the mic and stuff.
Yeah, no, he does. Yeah, Ricochet isn't much on the mic.
No, but it is enjoyable. I was cool to see
her a lot too,
and it's good to see Bobby.
Rare,
just destroy.
Yeah, it's nice to see Lashley. I just like seeing Lashley destroy people as well. It really is. Big Lashley fan right now.
Let's move on to something else.
Yeah, shall I move on to the main event and my top mark of the night?
You can if you want. Unless you want to save that to the end of Raw. It's up to you.
What? Yeah, go on.
Max Fisher's got some cheeky more.
Well, I think
extra bits.
We don't like talking about the 24/7 title match, but I think there's some notable stuff in this because obviously, first of all, we had a new champion. But it's the aftermath is what I'm interested in here. So we got because there was a return on this show as well. So we had Nikki. There's a little video thing where Nikki won the title off of Dana Brooke. They have a rematch on Raw. Pointless little match. Dana Brooke pins Nikki ASH clean, and I was just like, oh my god! Like she was former women's champion last year. She was pinned by Dana Brooke for the 24/7 title. Then he had a cool little. I enjoyed the little segment with Ricochet and Reggie talking about him being his lawyer. I enjoyed that. It was quite funny. R-Truth is still good at what he does. But what I found interesting was on the back of this because I was thinking, where does Nikki go from that? But she looks. It was involved in this segment with Ricochet and Reggie. She looks upset about her loss, but then. Sorry, yeah. Did I say Ricochet?
You said Ricochet, yeah. I don't know.
Because we were just talking about Ricochet. Sorry, yeah. Ricochet, you're not 24/7.
Ricochet suddenly in 24/7.
That'd be a demotion.
I think he was chasing around at one point.
He probably was. He's got away from that, luckily. But yes, Doudrop comes in and is like, "Are you ready to get serious?" So we predicted this tag team a little bit in the past.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're going to get Nikki, Nikki, a Doudrop.
What's happening there?
Nikki, a Doudrop tag team.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for because they need more tag teams. And
maybe they'll call him Nikki. But
I think her suggesting she gets more serious, maybe she either drops the gimmick completely or we're going to see a more serious version of Nikki. Which I'm all for.
Let's see. I reckon get Doudrop and Nikki as a proper heel team, make them a proper team. They seem to work together. I think we mentioned in the build up to Mania that they could be involved in the title feud.
Yeah.
They never were. And I think, this is...
They could be a good feud after Sasha and Naomi are done with
Shane and Natalia.
Shane and Natalia, you can have them face Nikki and Doudrop. Why not? I think that's a good tag team to have them face. And Nikki is on Twitter now saying she's only going to refer to herself or respond to people if they call her Grand Slam Nikki, because she's the first woman to win the Raw Women's title, the tag team title, and the 24/7 title. As if winning the 24/7 title adds to that. It probably takes away, if anything. But it's a funny little thing from her to say.
Well, it's cool. She's won so much gold, isn't it? Fair play to her.
Yeah. I guess.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on to my top mark now, unless you've got any more little segments in the woodwork there.
No, I just thought that was worth mentioning because of Doudrop returning more than anything. I'm interested to see where that goes.
It was.
I don't really care about the 24/7 title. Just the rest, the Nikki Doudrop tag team, I think could be good.
So my top mark is from the main event of Raw, and we had a lovely 6-woman tag match. Bianca, Liv, and Asuka v Becky, Rhea, and Sonya. And if there's one thing this match shows, it's how strong the women's division is on Raw. It was just mentioned Nikki and Doudrop.
Do you know what? I felt like, it really showed. I noted this down, that it really showed there's like tiers within the women's division that we don't normally get. So you've got 6 there that are like your main event or top mid card, maybe in Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan's case, you could argue. But 6 legitimately top women, which is great for one. You don't get that very often. But then you also had Nikki and Dana fight for the 24/7 title. You had Doudrop on the show. You had obviously you got Tamina on the 24/7 title lower card as well. You've also got Zelina Vega and Carmella who weren't there this week. Alexa Bliss to come back in. It did show the depth of Raw's women division, actually.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you mentioned Liv being up in mid card maybe, but she's the one who got the pinfall in this match.
I was shocked by that. I thought she was taking it.
Which is great. I mean, it was an oblivion to Sonya.
When she gets going, she's incredible in ring.
Yeah,
she is. I feel like she's got better and better and better. When she was in the Riot Squad, honestly, I thought she was maybe the third best member of the Riot Squad in ring.
Oh, I disagree. I always thought she was amazing.
At the start.
Have that.
By the end of it, she might have been up, top or middle. But at the start of it, I didn't think she was that good. But by now, she is like really. I feel like she's improved so much.
I loved the move where I don't know what Oscar calls it, but she like bummed Sonya off the rope. Where she
that was an amazing spot.
A running bum.
Oh yeah,
she does a running bum.
Running bum, yeah.
Running bum off the rope, and Liv caught her mid-air.
That was great.
Code breaker. That was mad.
That was
timing.
A great spot. Everything about that was spot on from all 3 of them involved.
Yeah, amazing. It's so how great is it to see Asuka back as well? She's back.
I think that was what made the great match.
Full flow. She's back.
I needed that break.
She never left.
Now I needed the break because now I think
you're right. I think we all needed that break from Asuka, and I think she's come back fully revitalized, and she's just come back on top form. I think she just looks great, and we have maybe to honest you, probably the people like Belair is actually not a central figure in this match because we've got Asuka, Becky feud, we've got Liv and Rhea, and then you got Bianca and Sonya, which is probably the 3rd biggest feud out of 3. Just, I mean, is it even a feud?
Nice to see.
I can't wait till
we again.
I can't wait till we get Bianca versus Rhea, which is I think it'll be like the big match over SummerSlam or something like that.
Yep, that would be very, very.
I think that's what we're going to
nice.
build to because I think Rhea will be on a trajectory where she wins a lot of matches. Maybe she joins Judgment Day or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think Bianca will obviously be kept really strong. And then you can have the 2 of them face off in a few months' time.
Yeah, I think just last point on this. I think I think this shows that they haven't forgotten about Liv Morgan yet. They haven't just she had a title run and now we'll put her back to the mid card. I think
because I was a bit worried about that when especially
she still thought about
when they broke the team up early, and you know that Rhea is going to be the one they're pushing out the 2. But yeah, it was. It's really good, and the finish was quite cool. So Sonya tried to cheat, didn't she? Legs up for the pin. Bianca stopped it, and then she hit the Oblivion because she was by the ropes. So
yeah,
Becky did some great stuff here, trying to avoid Asuka at the start of the match. Eventually, she did. I think they had a little bit of a interaction.
Yeah.
But it was a really good 6-woman tag main event, wasn't it? Given time as well.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. She go on to NXT then.
Yeah, I can start. If you want to go,
in.
yeah, Spring Breaking, weird name for a show. If you want to go back-to-back top marks to keep the positivity, we can do that.
Oh,
We go
hell
straight
yeah.
in.
Hell yeah. Top mark.
So
up.
I'm going
the top
to,
mark.
it's not often I get a top mark from NXT, but I really enjoyed the opener this week, which was the NXT North American Championship. I think it's 3 of the gems.
I enjoyed the opener before the opener.
Yeah, we'll
Just
get,
had to give that little mention,
yeah.
surely.
go on.
Pretty deadly.
Just pretty deadly. You just like got a camera shot of someone's behind in some like hot pants, and then it was pretty deadly. Like,
Yeah,
these
boy.
guys, yeah,
They're well
these
fun.
guys are just funny, aren't they?
They
We
are
love
great.
NXT UK, but I hope they're getting across with the NXT fans because
They suit NXT 2.0 as well.
Yeah.
They actually do.
so hilarious. Sorry, I just had to interrupt because that
No,
opener
it's
was gold.
It's fair enough. I didn't want to forget about that, actually. It was
That can have an honorary top mark.
Mm.
But yes,
Nearly
the
a
match
skid mark with
itself,
those shorts.
3 of the top in-ring performers in NXT right now. Carmelo Hayes, I think, is probably right amongst those in the top 2 or 3 wrestlers in NXT in ring. Absolutely brilliant. Cameron Grimes has been very good for a long time, and Solo Sikoa, who is getting really over as well. So they had a really strong triple threat match. It started with Solo and Grimes sort of teaming up on Carmelo, 2-on-1. Carmelo was doing some really good stuff, flying around the ring. It was a really good spinning Uranagi. I think it was from Solo. And Grimes broke up at 2, but it was a really fast-paced match. There was a Poison Rana at one point. And then the finish was... so Solo got Carmelo up, I think, and then he hit a cave-in from the top rope.
Into a Samoan drop,
Yeah, into a Samoan drop and then pinned.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Solo. Really cool finish as well. Yeah, I just thought this match was a lot of fun.
It was. I think the cave-ins maybe one of my favorite finishes.
I love that move as well.
It is cool.
So good. And it can come like from out of nowhere, can't it? You just cave in someone.
Yeah, I think it's the variety of ways he can hit it helps it as well.
This was a great finish. It was just sort of out of nowhere, wasn't it? It was like, where is Grimes? Oh wait, there he is.
Like, I knew this match was going to be really good. Like the main event was the NXT title match. We'll get to it later. Like that was okay, but I knew this match would be better.
I can see these guys being the future. It would not surprise me if we see at least 2 out of 3, if not all 3, at pay-per-views in the next 3 years. It really
Carmelo should be like.
Oh, Carmelo's got
amazing.
To be champion.
And I think,
in my opinion, Carmelo's the best guy in NXT. I think he's better than Braun Breaker. I think Carmelo Hayes is.
I agree.
Is number 1. I think he's the star. And you said about the NXT title. I think, in my opinion, this match on star quality, on in-ring performance, on is just trumps the NXT title.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah,
it should have been the main event. Really. I honestly think it could have been main event of the show.
I think a show opener sometimes can be as important as a main event.
That is true.
It is, and we might as well go on to the NXT title.
I suppose the NXT title should be because it's the NXT title, but
it probably should. And there was a storyline here, but we had Braun Breaker, who was wearing an interesting outfit, which I think is his dad's from back in the day.
I think so.
Again, went over my head, but I heard about it afterwards. But quite cool. And he got his win over Joe Gacy. But which is what we expected. But maybe what's interesting here is we got a funny hooded figure in the crowd at one point. And then at the end, the show closes with 2 hooded figures in red masks appearing on the apron, and then the camera coming off. So what's happening here? I mean, are these just Joe Gacy's goons?
I think they're going to be someone who they're going to align him with now. And the fact they've got rid of Haaland, I think they want to give him to I don't know what you'd call them, goons.
The goons.
They seem to NXT seems to making little factions, don't they?
Yeah, even Tony D's got his like backup guys now.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see who they bring in. They're probably people who haven't quite got over, and then they're going to put them in that role.
I'm trying to
But
think
I'm not
who it could
against
be.
it.
I think they're going to be new people we've not seen before.
Josh
personally.
Briggs and Brooks Jensen.
I did think about that.
Nah, it's
But
going to be. I
then
reckon there'll be new
TV
people we've
earlier,
not
Who are
weren't
the
really
other
seen.
two? Idris Anofe and Manic
Ooh,
Blade.
what about well, they're not called it now, but Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah,
That
well,
would make me
that's-
interested.
that's actually not a terrible scenario actually, because they did say we're not Grizzled Young Veterans, so didn't
Yeah.
they? They said we're going to be different.
And they haven't been
so
around. They've not been
Yeah,
on TV.
That's
so
not a bad shout.
there we go.
You-
Right. Cheeky
could be
extra
onto
bread point if
something.
that's right.
Do you know what? If you're right, that's amazing. And to be honest, that would make me interested because I've been down
Yeah,
on this feud. I don't like all this.
It would
Last
be
man
funny
stuff
though, all this
behind it.
dark stuff, and then suddenly it's just
Soon.
Liverpool's number one. Although I'm sure they changed
They would change it up.
their
I'm sure.
character, but it
Yeah.
would be funny.
Yeah.
One thing
Yeah,
I
I
will
think
say is, I'm critical of the Joe Gacy gimmick, but when he gets in ring, I actually think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like his in-ring style.
He did a cool
Um,
little thing on the outside where he sort of got launched by Breaker and towards the ring, but then he like swung off the bottom rope
Yes.
and went into a lariat, which was really cool. One thing I have noticed, which I think Keeney may have mentioned this before, it's as if Joe Gacy wants to be the new Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
I
he-
hated.
he-
there's
He
a bit
even
I
did that thing
hated.
in the corner, didn't
He
he?
I
was
hated
upside
that.
down,
Yeah.
like basically, and then he went into to make it even worse. He then did the Uranagi, which is exactly what Bray Wyatt used to
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
like it. I was like, come on.
So Joe Gacy, he's a cross. I saw this online, so I'm not going to take credit for this. He's like if Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt had a child, it's Joe Gacy. That is what he is.
do. Are you
He's-
saying he's like Kevin Owens just because he's a bit larger?
No, but
Yeah.
I think his wrestling style's a bit Kevin Owensy a bit, and his character's a bit Bray Wyatt-y, and he's incorporating a bit of both. I think to me, he just reminds me of both of them. I don't know, maybe.
And a
Yeah,
bit of Corey
get where you're
Graves
coming
because
from.
he does this all the time.
Oh yeah.
More so, his gimmick though, it's just too much to close to Bray for my liking. And I think that's why it's grating on me so much.
The upside down thing.
The
was
upside
just
down
the-
thing legit
Yeah.
pissed me off.
I
was
mean-
like,
I
what
mean,
is this?
Let's hope then they're not trying to push Joe Gacy to be the next Bray Wyatt. Like, oh, we released Bray Wyatt in the Fiend. We'll just
Imagine
create
if
a new
Bray
one
was
in
one of the people
NXT.
in the masks.
Yeah, Bray and the Fiend.
Bray and Braun.
I think we'd have known if that was Braun Strowman. So for me, the best match on the card, I know Fisher's said about the opener, and that was amazing. But I thought the Creed brothers and the Viking Raiders had some tag team match here.
Yeah,
That was a banger as well. I will say
So
that.
good. And it's again, we said it, we talk about it a lot. These guys coming down from the main roster to NXT. This is why, because we just reminded of how good
Yep.
the Viking Raiders can be, because we have not seen that for 2 to 3 years on the main roster because they've just not done anything. And Creed Brothers went over as well, so it's perfect little come down. They've had a couple of matches, Viking Raiders. Now they've just put over the
Was
top tag
spicy,
team on
wasn't it?
NXT. It was spicy, wasn't it?
They it was great to see how much power these Creed brothers have because they were throwing the Viking Raiders round and they are
Yeah.
big boys.
Yeah,
yeah.
they are big
Um,
boys. Yeah,
There was some real big hits early on. I mean, straight away you had the Viking experience.
Yeah,
being
the
hit
kick
within,
out,
like the
like-
first minute or so.
I thought I'd won for a second.
Yeah.
I went
Imagine
and squashing
that,
them in
yeah,
like
just come
seconds.
down
It's
and
like,
destroy them.
wow.
I mean,
I
they
mean-
would have done that back when they were on NXT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I
probably
guess
do,
I
didn't they?
guess the only kind of slight sour note on this match as a match was Roderick Strong grabbed
Yeah.
one of their legs towards the end, and that's what resulted in the
I
finish.
did like though that afterwards the Creed brothers were not happy at all with Roddy
Yeah,
like that.
and so-
and it adds to the story with Diamond Mine.
Yeah, and we know Roderick Strong has asked for his release.
Well,
so I
actually,
wonder,
this
could
could be a
this
way
be
out.
could this be a way to get him out off TV? Creed Brothers get along with him,
Potentially,
beat him up,
potentially.
and then they say, "Okay, you can go now."
That's a
We've-
good idea because he's
we've
quite an
used
important
you for your
character.
bit.
To just get rid of him would be a bit odd.
Yeah.
I mean, it was weird for Bivens to go, but I guess if he was that desperate, then
But I like that the Creed brothers, because the Creed brothers should be annoyed that Strong did that. I like that as a character trait for them because they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
need to cheat to win. They're good
no,
enough to
they're
win on their
awesome,
own.
aren't they?
So they should be, I really like that. And the match was a banger, like you say, four big guys just chucking each other about.
It was a
who
massive
are
splash
athletic
to the
big
outside
guys as well.
by
Yeah.
Ivar, which was mad. We don't seem to
Yeah.
do any of that on the main roster.
Yeah.
No.
Well, again, their matches usually, 2 to 3 minutes long. They don't get time to show what they can do.
No, they
Um,
don't.
So this reminded me, I said about it at the top of the show, we should mention it later on. We also had a backstage segment with Indy Hartwell and Duke Hudson, where Indy's looking at her at her ring as if to say she misses Dexter, and then Duke walks in and they look at each other as if they're about to kiss, like, oh no, what we doing, and then they walk off. So it was a small segment, probably will go nowhere, but I just liked that they acknowledged.
I thought it was a good set. I actually thought it was a really good little segment that they acknowledged it for a start with, but also that Duke just like was like, why not?
Yeah.
And Indy was like, serious?
So they were able to acknowledge it without having to mention anything, and I just thought it's a nice little. Again, it's like a 30-second, a minute long clip backstage, but I was happy it was there.
Yeah, same.
Actually, Krusty, I'll probably come to you now because you were mentioning him last week. Nathan Fraser had his NXT debut.
This was good. So I really rate Waller anyway. And Nathan Fraser is like been thrown in at the deep end, which I think is pretty cool for him. So he's definitely on the way up. Great fast-paced match straight away, just like last week. The way Fraser runs around and jumps out of the ring is just incredible. And it's really played off well with Waller playing his character. I love the lunges he does, and he was using it as an offensive move. He was lunging on top of Fraser, which is just such an annoying move, but just so clever.
I love the fact he did the Rollins stomp mocking Seth as well.
Yeah.
It's
that was
those
a nice
details, isn't it, that people like us really appreciate.
Yeah. Well, I think they mentioned in commentary, didn't they, that he was the Seth trainer?
Oh, they've mentioned it every week that he's been there. They've mentioned it.
It's a good accolade.
He's only been there 2 weeks, Fisher. It's only the second week.
Yeah, always mentioned it.
Third, because they mentioned it on the first week when they said he was coming. Then they mentioned it when he was there. Then, even in NXT, they did it.
Fisher's known about it since Seth met him. So
honestly, in NXT,
contracts on it.
They used to say it every other week in NXT UK as well. So,
no, can you blame him? I mean, Seth's such a legend, isn't he?
Yeah, but it was a great match, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
Waller did was when he got the beach ball, because that's such a play for crowds. They're like, oh yeah, throw the beach ball, and then he ripped it, and they booed him like crazy.
He's really good in ring as well, Waller.
Yeah, he is. He's brilliant.
He is good. He's really good.
Fantastic.
I really like him, and Fraser is a star. So.
Yeah, but Fraser got the win here, and I think we're moving towards Waller feuding with Andre Chase by the looks of it. He seemed to be having words with Andre Chase.
He did his horn.
Someone used a foghorn.
He fell off the rope.
Yeah,
he fogged on and he fell off the rope, and that allowed Fraser to do his little spinning.
I don't mind that, because it's nice to see Fraser getting the win, but Waller, to have him lose clean when he's just literally torn apart loads of people, hasn't he? He's won clean in a lot of matches recently. So
shoulders come.
One thing I will say about Fraser, he did a little promo before, and he's really awkward. I find him awkward on the mic. That is one thing.
Yeah, he isn't that. I would say.
I think he could do a little bit of a work there, but he's still very sort of new. And his wrestling, his wrestling can do the talking. No, and if his wrestling can do his talking for him anyway, then I think he'll be fine. But I did notice that he was a little bit awkward on his interview. I thought his
wrestling is incredible. I just hope he doesn't injure himself, because he's that.
It's like a Darby Allin, isn't he? He throws himself into everything.
Yeah, his finisher as well. I don't know what it's called, but I just put mad flip thing. It's like it sort of defies physics the way he manages to hit that. Awesome match.
It's called a Phoenix Splash.
Phoenix Splash. Thank you.
I thought that was what you called it.
Did you just Google that?
Sure. No, I have the website up, so I just looked. I just looked at the match description.
Prepared here at
Phoenix Splash
Wrestling.
Yeah,
everyone bar me by the looks of it.
I've got you.
So we had a business meeting between Santos Escobar's crew, Legado del Fantasma, and Tony D'Angelo. What did you make of this segment?
So I thought they were basically joining forces at one point. I thought, God, are we getting some massive faction here?
I knew that they would get an
AEW style.
But I really enjoyed this. I like the setting. I think Santos is a really good talker. I think Tony does a really good job as well. I'm glad that they did most of the work here, and the others just kind of stood around the table. I thought this was really good. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, but then we got Santos Escobar and Legado.
The only thing
abducting.
is, how many times has kidnapping got to happen in the NXT car park before the police are called? Like,
They need some
seriously,
security out there, don't they?
how many times has that happened? Probably like 20 times over the last few years. I think half of them have been Legado as well. But
I'm surprised
yeah.
they've not been arrested yet.
Yeah,
All this kidnapping.
that bit I wasn't as keen on, but the actual business meeting thing itself I thought was really cool. And I really like this kind of faction warfare that between two, like, they feel kind of on the same level, if you know what I mean. Like, neither of them are particularly face. Neither of them are like really heel. Well, Tony's really heel, but yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? You'd think he's heel, but then Legado
Escobar and that were heels, but they don't feel like it. But yeah, it's not like proper baby faces versus proper heels. It feels like two gangs going at it, which I like.
Yeah, it's cool. I do enjoy it. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I think it is cool. And I think it just fits both characters, doesn't it? To have this like
Power struggle.
It's a perfect,
Yeah, it's like two big gangs going for power. I like it.
Yeah, all for it. But like I said, it really is two heels. Although again, you might have said it a minute ago, Fish, but I really want to see Legado turn face. I'm ready for it.
Yeah,
I think they're really. I would you say that and then they abduct someone, so maybe not. But
So we had a tag match, didn't we? Between
yes.
Cora Jade, Nikita Lyons versus Natty and Cora Jade. No, not Cora Jade.
Lash Legend.
Yeah, that's it, Lash Legend. So something I can't help but watch Cora Jade now when she's in the ring, because I've been that critical in the past.
Yeah,
she's definitely getting better. You can see that she's been working with Natalya and people backstage, which is really good to see, because I think her character's great and someone that people will love. She's got a really great look as well, which is just really cool. I think she's still a little bit green in ring, but she's definitely getting there. I think Natty's really working her magic in this overall. What did you guys think of it?
I thought it was okay. I've said before, I think Lash looks really raw when she gets in the ring. I think she looks really really green. Like, she definitely needs some work. But I think
the purpose
NXT.
of this is that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Natty train these three new superstars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is good.
What was interesting here as well, she had a sort of miscommunication between Natalya and Lash Legend. It kind of cost Lash here. I think Nikita's looked all right. I think they really like her. I think that's clear to see.
Oh, it's because she's so popular, though.
Yeah, I think her and Cora Jade are looking pretty good. So yeah, I'm glad they get a win here with a little double move thing they did. Nikita went for her kind of weird pin thing.
She did
what I found was weird, and then she got off her. So
a split-legged splash followed by a top rope senton.
O'Kearney's got his.
Yeah, I was going to say, you thought
there's no way this is his
would have gone first.
he's like Excalibur.
I am.
Although you can see in his glasses, he's reading.
Yeah, you can probably see
something.
Reflection.
If you lean in, we'll be able to read it ourselves, just backwards. But yeah, no, it was interesting. It's almost like they wanted Cora to get the pin, because otherwise you'd have done the senton first and then had Nikita pin with her finisher. But it was enjoyable enough.
Yeah,
I think we had one more.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I've got something else. Might be the same thing for sure. But did you find the Toxic Attractions Day at the Beach enjoyable? It was ruined by
it was all right. This was okay.
Wendy Chu and Roxanne Perez. So they started off with Mandy getting a tan, and I guess Wendy Chu turned up
the volume on it, and then she come out red.
Yeah, come out red. Again, I don't think it was that bad, but yeah, she was devastated by it. But then Gigi and JC went to the beach without her, and they sold their car. I think sold their keys and sold their car. It's just a bit.
So it was Roxanne Perez and Wendy Chu in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, Roxanne Perez. But what I do like is Roxanne Perez being like, shouldn't I be training for the tournament coming up?
I didn't realize she was in that, by the way. I think she's 100% winning it as well.
Yeah,
I want to name like there's all these.
Although maybe she won't because Toxic Attraction will cost her, and they'll set up a tag team. I think they'll set up a tag team title match. I think is what they're doing here.
Yeah, maybe she won't because doesn't the winner get a title shot on Mandy?
I think so.
So it'd be interesting to see who wins that. Fallon Henley's in it. She might win.
And Tatum Paxley as well.
Yeah.
So
there are some people we've seen on TV in there. It's not all like complete newcomers.
Maybe it'll be fine because last time we had a men's breakout tournament, we had some real stars in there. Joe Gacy was one, but we had Carmelo Hayes won it, didn't he? Carmelo Hayes won it last men's one.
We've had some really good ones.
They're the main stars on the men's side. So hopefully we get some good stars from there. And that's all I had from NXT. Don't know about you guys.
I think so. I will just double check.
Yeah, that was it from me. I think we've pretty much gone through every single.
I think we've covered everything.
Segment.
Yeah.
It was a special, so we had to really cover most of it, didn't we?
Yeah. I think all the matches were worthwhile.
Yeah, it was quite a big show for them this week. Quite decent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed that.
Should we move on to AEW?
AEW. Should we start at the start? Rampage, should we?
Oh yeah, of course. I forgot about
Rampage.
It's nice, by the way. This is the first proper AEW section we've had in 3 weeks, so it's nice to have a.
Oh, here he goes. He can't wait to stab the knife in, can he?
No, because last week I had to do a special the next day, and then the week
Fish
before,
is AEW correspondent.
I did it on my own.
Yes,
I think I've done it 2 weeks.
Should we leave Krusty? It's just Fisher.
Yeah.
No, please. I want to hear about your guys' opinions on it. So what did we get on Rampage? Darby Allin v Swerve.
Yep, Darby Allin and Swerve. Which
that was a qualifier, wasn't it?
Which was won due to Ricky Starks.
Yeah. At one point I did pick out from this was a mad suplex to the outside off the apron. That looked painful.
I got that on my notes as
well.
Cool,
but maybe unnecessarily savage.
Yeah, but it's Darby Allin.
Yeah,
you can say that about him every week. Literally every match he has.
Absolutely mad, that man.
He's a madman. So yeah, but yeah, a roll-up win. We love a roll-up win. But it was a distraction.
Distraction finish
from Ricky Starks. I did wonder what they were going to do here because it's like neither men really could do a proper defeat here because Darby Allin very rarely loses. So I gathered he was winning, but I was like, Swerve, you don't want him to get beaten clean here, really. He's fairly new to the roster.
Yeah, but I was like, I think there was a little moment after where Darby's like, I didn't know, and it was.
Yeah, that was.
They did kind of clear it up a bit at the end.
Yeah.
We also got Hook and Danhausen.
I love this bit.
Was so good. They were chanting. The crowd were chanting Hookhausen.
Oh,
that's how into
Hookhausen. It's almost as good as Krusthausen. Really, I got excited for this bit. And Danhausen, I just can't get enough of him at the moment. I might change my mind. He might have an Orange Cassidy.
He is funny.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But just the fact he was there and he was like, maybe it's sorry for my bad impression. But maybe it's extreme to do this week. Let's do this next week. And he was face to face with him. And then he just starts cursing everyone because Tony Nese comes out, doesn't he?
Tony Nese. Go away.
Tony Nese is like the perfect opposite, straight man.
Absolutely no character at all.
He's the perfect opposite character.
Yeah.
To come out here and Hook helps Danhausen with the curse, but then shoves him away. But the crowd are chanting Hookhausen. We're getting him as a team.
I think we're getting a tag team. Yeah,
this is so random. I never ever thought this was coming, but I love it, and I want more of Hookhausen.
I love it. It was great. I must say, I really enjoyed that.
I did too. We had a main event. We had Samoa Joe and Trent Beretta for the Ring of Honor World TV title. This won't be the last time they headline an AEW show with a Ring of Honor title match this week. But we had this match here. Samoa Joe retaining. I think a good match
for me was the promo before Joe just spitting absolute fire, like we know he can do. Whenever Joe gets that mic, it's just magic.
Yep.
I'm not sure what you thought about it, Keeney, because he threatened to kill him. Basically, Joe threatened to kill Trent, and I know you don't like a murder threat in a wrestling match.
I watch Peaky Blinders and Kill a Knee for my murders. I don't watch wrestling for it.
But what about Samoa Joe?
Yeah,
threatening-
but oh, I don't know.
Samoa Joe, I believe he could. That's the thing.
Yeah. So
Put him
I
to
feel
sleep
like
a little bit too
I feel like
much.
everything Samoa Joe says, I believe. So yeah, I'm not against Samoa Joe.
And he
threatening to
did
murder
put Trent
someone.
to sleep.
He did, and we knew he would. And I thought this was a good match. Again, we also got Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh coming out at the end, which happens every Samoa Joe match.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get Jay
Good
Lethal v Samoa Joe. I'm sure that's
That'd be a good match.
It'll probably be at. Do you think it might be? They might do a Double or Nothing, maybe. They
Is
put the
it
Ring
big
of Honor
enough?
title on
Could
They
be.
tend
with
to
Samoa
do
Joe.
very
It's Samoa
big-
Joe, so they could.
I think they could put it quite early on in the card.
Yeah, maybe.
And it's
Maybe.
such a long
I think
show.
it's definitely
isn't
big
it?
enough to
They're
be
like
on
a
there.
5 hour.
They put like 12 matches on the card.
Maybe. Okay.
So I reckon it's definitely big enough.
Schornhausen over there.
Where have my arms gone?
I cursed you.
Yeah, I've lost my arms.
Where have they gone?
Podcast, this is going to be well.
I thought you were having
I
a
have
rave
still-
as
I have
well
still- I have
with
still
the
got them.
light in there. It's like,
I know. Well, the light. I need to turn the light on. So you guys talk about Dynamite. I'm gonna go turn the light on.
okay, sounds good.
So should we start with this Bobby Fish Jeff Hardy match that opened the show?
Yeah, definitely go ahead, Fish.
So this was a qualifier as well. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly had already qualified from the Undisputed Elite from this tournament as well. So it was interesting. But I did think it was quite obvious that Jeff Hardy was going to win. The match wasn't great. It was okay. But there was a botch in this match from Jeff where he missed him completely.
Surprise, surprise.
And then he went. I just felt it was like leading
Random
to a
shots
Swanton bomb,
fired there.
and then he hit a Swanton
Oh,
bomb.
I've mentioned a few times Jeff Hardy isn't the most.
He's not the smoothest
not
guy.
most
Yeah,
finesse, is he?
smooth as well. He isn't the smoothest wrestler in the world, is he?
But he won with a Swanton bomb, which, like I said, I thought was obvious really before the match. It was okay. I don't really have a lot else to say about it, to be honest.
We're just teasing. The Young Bucks came out, didn't they, and did
Yes.
nothing.
Oh, that
But
was
again,
yeah.
we're just teasing that.
Bucks and the Hardys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that'd be awesome. But we're teasing the eventual.
Oh,
split.
with Red Dragon, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like they were at one point. I thought they were going to shake their hand. But yeah, I'd
Well,
love to see
one
Young
cool
Bucks
thing in
Hardy.
this match actually was from Bobby Fish. He did his Avalanche Falcon Arrow, which I really like it.
Yeah.
He does that quite a lot. And then it was a 2 count, and he realized Jeff was getting out of it, so he put him into a submission. I just thought that was a really cool spot from Fish.
Yeah,
he
that's
is
a cool
a
one, yeah.
really good wrestler. But he's like the lowest member of that group, isn't he? He always feels like that, unfortunately.
He is. It's just
So he
nice to see
loses a
him
lot of the
wrestling.
matches. He
Yeah.
loses a lot of the matches because he's the guy in the Undisputed Era, or now the Undisputed Elite, that you can have take pins.
I think you're forgetting that Bobby Fish had an absolute fire time when he first ended up in
He did.
AEW.
But like as soon
He
as he was
did.
in that faction, you know he's going to be the guy that takes the pins for them, not Kyle and not Adam and not the Bucks.
I've got a question for you guys. How many fish could Bobby Fish fish if Bobby Fish could fish? Do you remember
5.
that from Riddle?
Yeah.
Five.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember that.
Yeah. I always love
Well
that.
remembered.
So
Yeah.
after that, I'll move it on. Less said about that one, the better.
Didn't get a good reaction actually. I thought I'd get a bigger action for that.
Absolutely terrible.
So we got a promo from Regal before the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yep.
Unbelievable. That promo was.
Yeah, Regal's just amazing.
It was just so intense. It was like if you give a knife to someone and tell them to attack their enemies, 90% of people will stab them, but we'll just cut their face. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Regal loves it, doesn't he?
Savage.
He was
Absolutely
loving this role.
savage. But yeah, and then the Blackpool Combat Club just decided to beat 3 guys up, which is always great. And it
Yeah,
was,
and I love how they finish matches.
Butcher,
all-
Blade,
they-
and Angelico,
they-
wasn't
yeah,
it?
they all pick one person each and just start
Yeah, I love that bit.
absolutely destroying them.
I
Yeah,
love that
just
we got
stomp
Butcher
their
and
heads off.
Blade back though.
Yeah, but they're in. I mean, I think it's probably a good spot for them. Just be.
I don't remember them that much in this match. I literally was like, and Angelico and who else was there? Because Angelico
Yeah.
felt like he did a lot of.
Angelico's partner
He got released.
got released.
Jack Evans. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I couldn't remember which one was released. But
Yeah, he's left. I don't know if Angelico's out of contract soon or if he's sticking around or what. But
he needs to change.
he
his
hasn't been
gear.
used. He hasn't been used much at all.
He's in the AFO
Yeah, but he
as
hasn't,
as is everyone. But
Yeah.
he's in it.
half the roster's in that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, he took the fall, didn't he? He tapped out from Brian in the end. But he did. I felt like he did a lot of the work in this match for them.
Brian with his amazing triangle sleeper, and he does the gets the guns out.
Oh yeah,
There's little peek of my guns there. What else do we have on the show? So actually, the next match was Wardlow.
Big Wardlow.
And he had
enjoyed
his
this.
mystery opponent, W. Morrissey, aka Big Cass.
What food has Big Cass, aka Morrissey, been eating?
I know,
Because I want
he looks
some of
incredible,
that.
doesn't he?
He
looks
is
amazing.
shredded. That
He looks
boy
amazing
has
now.
been eating his spinach.
Well, like I said last week, he had problems with, he's had problems with alcoholism and things like that. I don't think he was in the best shape when he left WWE. Mentally, I think he was a little bit all over the place and stuff. Like he was having problems, and now he's sorted himself out.
Right.
I can see Vince looking at him going, bloody hell, I want him back.
Like I saw him and I didn't eat. I looked at him twice. I was like, is that Big Cass? And then this straight away, the moment I saw him, because when you announced it, I was like, well, you announced it. I mean,
I announced it.
when it was
Twitter,
announced, I
I said last week that.
Great, Big Cass. I wasn't bothered, was I? I said this to you. I really was not phased because I remember he's 7 feet tall and you can't teach that. And then you get a big boot and it's over. But I straight away saw him and I thought, this is serious stuff now. This is somebody who looks like they could beat Wardlow, which is what I want. I don't want someone coming out who doesn't look like they can beat him. But
Danhausen here.
what
comes out.
That'd be amazing, actually. Yeah, bring Danhausen.
Could you imagine that?
MJF
just brings that Danhausen.
Also,
I want Danhausen to face everybody.
the last 2 weeks, though, Wardlow has had Lance Archer and
He's going through
W.
some
Morrissey, and he
big
is.
lad.
What was
powerbombed
interesting-
them. And he won powerbomb here, though.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a couple of interesting things about this match.
Not the
Only
simplest
took one
thing.
power bomb because he was a guy from
He's
Impact.
too
So
big.
he's just
He
like,
can't do
whatever.
that more than once.
Well,
And I'll get
he
to
managed
the-
he managed to do Lance Archer a couple of times.
I'll get to
Last
He's
week.
not as big. Lance Archer's probably
Yeah.
about 6'4", 6'5".
I'll get to the point of him being
Not
Impact
7
talent
foot.
later when we talk about the women's match. But yeah, he was like, that's only an Impact wrestler. It doesn't matter. Well, he can only take one power bomb and get pinned. He's
Yeah,
not an
exactly,
AEW wrestler. He's from Impact. And then also the
I
other
did
thing to
hear
like from this
the,
match, the chance.
Sorry, Fish. On that Impact note, the commentators did say something about him coming over. Like,
Yeah.
is he going to be? So I reckon we might see him on AEW more often.
Maybe, but his booking here doesn't.
But it's
I don't know.
Wardlow, though, isn't it?
Yeah, just the fact he lost in one power bomb. And I think it took like Butcher.
I just think that's because physically to powerbomb him more than once would take a lot
it might
of
have been
power.
because of that. It might have been because of that. But yeah, the other interesting I think was interesting here was we had crowd chants of dueling chants. We want Enzo. No, we don't. We want Enzo. No, we don't. So interesting for AEW fans. Some of them seem to want Enzo, and predictably, there's a lot of people that don't because of his sort of controversial past. But yeah, if Cass came in, I think it would be wise to bring Enzo with him because I think he makes him a better act.
I want
do
Enzo
miss the
just for the
promos.
promo. Can you imagine Enzo and Cass going in a like battle against the Acclaimed?
Yeah.
Ah,
That'd be
man.
mad, wouldn't it?
Just allowing him the microphone. I haven't read into too much about him, but let's just say he's fine and he does come in. Imagine if he was given the free reign AEW give people on the mic. Oh my god. I mean, you just look at MJF and you see.
The only problem is the show might end up getting taken off the air.
Well, we've got the Acclaimed.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Acclaimed run
so,
close to the line.
and they're
quite a lot.
back.
they
They just
do.
have to be vetted, don't they?
I mean, even MJF comes close to the line a lot.
MJF goes over that line, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Funny you mentioned the Acclaimed, because what on earth was that about? I laughed at this.
Yeah.
The Gun Club and the Acclaimed met up, got given some scissors, and then they started going like this. And I was like, they were like, we talked to Papa, and then gave him a present, and then they're like best mates. What
It was
that
because I
about?
think last week they had a segment, didn't they? Was it on Rampage? It was either on Rampage or last week on Dynamite.
I don't.
They had a little
I think
segment
it
with
was
the Gun Club,
Rampage.
and they were like, we'll go and ask our dad or something. Billy wasn't there, and then they come back with Billy this week, and then did his scissors.
And now they're best mates or something.
Yeah,
Are they a
and-
new faction?
Probably, yeah. They love it on
Probably.
AW. Love
Just
a
throw
new
them together all
faction.
together. Why not?
I mean, why not? I just didn't get the scissors.
Yeah.
It was fun.
But
It's
was
because
funny.
they do the Acclaimed. That's their like thing. The
I
fingers
see.
scissoring. I think that was the link, but yeah, it was a bit
Yeah.
yeah,
it was odd.
just odd, I think.
It was
So,
funny.
At the end of we forgot to say at the end of the Wardlow match, MJF.
Oh, yeah.
So he beats
Sorry,
up so
got
many
distracted by
security.
scissors.
He beats up so many security guards, and then
That was
MJ. He's
awesome.
basically like, I'm not going to stop until I get my hands on MJF. MJF agrees to give him a match, but they're having a contract signed in with some conditions next week in Long Island.
This will be
So,
interesting because
yeah.
last time he was there,
Yeah, he got
MJF
cheered.
was getting cheered, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So this is going to be a strange one.
I think he'll make Wardlow tie one hand behind his back or something, and there'll be stuff like that. It'll really put it in his favor.
Of course.
Obviously he will. But I wonder whether, like, if MJF wins, then Wardlow is released. Just can't fight for AEW ever again. And if Wardlow wins, then he's free or something. That's what it'll be. But it's a good match for Double or Nothing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
This has been building for so long, hasn't it?
Yeah.
2 years or something like that. So they're so good at this.
One thing I was interested in is the next one. I want to get your thoughts on this one. Was the Hangman Page promo. Was very weird, I thought.
Is he going heel?
Yeah, it's a bit heelish, wasn't it?
I think he's ready
Very
for it
heelish.
because he's not getting the reception he was getting. And I think they know, they've learned from Cody, don't drag it out when people start to get a bad reception. And against CM
It just
Punk,
feels random though.
does, but we've already had this from Page where he's sort of just against another face, but I think this sounded very, very heel.
It did. I don't know if he's going
there's
full
a difference
heel,
between confidence, isn't there? But
Yeah.
it was like no handshake. I was like, okay, that's really heel.
Yeah.
And
Go to
then saying
destroy
the
CM
crowd,
Punk.
Yeah, and take your shirts for a refund to the merch stand before if you don't burn them before, which I found hilarious. But that's heel. That's not.
He also
that's
said
not
that he wasn't going to have a Bret Hart masturbatoria match or something, tribute match.
Yeah,
It's like,
this is heel. He's gone, isn't he? He's gone.
that was hilarious line that I wasn't expecting from him. But yeah, it was very heelish. It just feels it felt a bit out of, I just wasn't expecting it. It was a bit random.
I
and out
thought
of
I'm
nowhere to me.
pleased because I was getting a little bit bored of Hangman Page. I loved him in the build up to getting the title, but since he's had it, it's a bit like, oh,
Yeah.
It's one of those chases where the chase is better than the race.
Yeah, I think his title run has been poor.
I think Punk needs to take it to win first.
Really?
Yep.
You think?
I think Punk should win it.
Yeah.
But would you turn him heel and then have him lose?
I actually wouldn't turn him heel. I think
I
you
don't
could
think
just
you should turn
do.
full heel.
I think you just do a face-to-face on yourself, Punk win. I mean, it depends what you have.
I think you
lined
just
up
have
for
face
Hangman
versus face,
after.
but like animosity between the two. So that it's like there's a bit of heat
Kind of what they did with Kingston and Punk, wasn't it?
Yes.
Neither of them were heel.
No.
And
Punk
they
felt like
just
heel,
got
didn't he?
really. Yeah,
This
but again,
just did sound so
Kingston
heel, though.
is probably better at building a match than Pages on the mic, so there's that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, can I say something that's weird on this show? We'll get to it. Yeah, it wasn't actually a match, was it? It was a call out, but we had the Varsity Blondes calling out the House of Black.
I didn't think this was weird. Did you think it was weird?
I thought it was a bit weird.
I tell you what, there was a bit part way through this segment. I thought this was going to be my top mark.
Really?
I thought Julia Hart was about to turn.
Julia
this is the
Hart
thing.
had started smashing him with a
Yeah.
chair,
I think she's going to. I think
Julia
they're
Hart
leaving
didn't
it out.
turn,
annoyed me.
and Brian Pillman was like, "Oh, we're being torn apart," and I was like, "Are you? Are Varsity Blondes being torn apart?" I have been oblivious to this.
It's happening a lot on Dark and Dark Elevation.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
I knew Julia Hart is wearing the eye patch and she's been sitting in the ring, not watching the matches. I like Julia Hart's part in this, but I just don't really get.
I think Julia Hart, the thing is that her eye is she wears the patch because that's what sort of lets her be evil, I guess, maybe, because that's where the corruption's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really enjoyed it until the end, and I was disappointed because I've seen a lot of criticism on this line, and this has been going on it was like 4 months ago that happened.
Wow.
Yeah, and also Death Triangle all returned last week, and then it came out here as well. That's the feud we're getting, and Varsity Blondes being here just to me, it just felt odd. I was like, what's happening?
I think
I
they
didn't
just
really
wanted
get
to
it
put
for
the
a while.
Julia thing on TV to.
Yeah, I'm
show
all
it more.
for, again, I mentioned this earlier with WWE. I'm all for, I'll be well happy if Julia Hart joined House of Black. I'll be well up for that.
I think they've got to do that eventually.
Yeah.
Got to.
But let's say she didn't turn here, and I just don't really get I just didn't really get what,
it was a bit
what they
pointless
were
in the
doing.
end.
Yeah. Again, I haven't watched Dark or Dark Elevation for a long time now. And as someone who only watches Rampage and Dynamite, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really understand the Varsity Blondes bit here. I was a bit confused. Maybe I missed something.
The promo was a bit rambly from Brian Pillman. It wasn't the greatest promo, but I really liked Julia Hart. I really liked the beatdown, first of all, that House of Black did. I thought was awesome. Then I really liked Malachi. Keep calling him Alistair Black. Malachi Black, like going into the corner, and Julia Hart's acting was actually quite good, I thought. Her like cowering in the corner, like terrified. But then also, I thought she was going to hit him with a chair, and I was like, come on, this is great. And then she didn't, and I was just like,
yeah, I'd love it.
We're dragging this out further then.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have dragged it out further.
It's been going on for too long with nothing really happening, like you say, Kitty. Like it's not really been explained on TV much, and even when we have had bits, it's not been. It felt so long ago. Like honestly, I think people just want it to happen now. It's one of those, like, sometimes you can drag a story out. Like Wardlow and MJF is an example of, you can wait for the turn for a long, long time. If you keep it on TV, you keep characters interesting, and there's stuff there. But this isn't like that. It's too.
And also that as MJF, and again, I mentioned it with Kevin Owens earlier. There's certain people, if they're in a feud, it is probably going to work because they're so reliable. Whereas this Julia Hart thing, I just don't think the characters are strong enough to drag this out for 4 months. I just don't think it's. But so be it. I mean, something else again. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I'm actually quite up for the feud, but we got Thunder Rosa calling out her number one contender, Serena Deeb.
Yeah,
which I'm for this match, but I didn't really get the back and forth to me. Thunder Rosa as your face champion. Serena Deeb was saying stuff, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, I agree." I was like, "Oh, like I just you don't see that much from a face champion against a heel challenger, where the heel challenger is saying stuff to them and like going at them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Oh, yeah, fair enough."
It started off like that, but
I just thought Thunder Rosa didn't look strong here as a face champion, and I worry just from this is and her first. The Nyla Rose defense was what it was. I worry that Thunder Rosa could end up with a Hangman Page type run as champion where it doesn't really work. I think maybe
so far she's barely been on TV.
Yeah, I think the problem is she's not been there. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't think this promo. I don't think there was anything wrong.
I thought the promo was fine as well.
I thought it was quite good.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
That
No, I
keen
thought
on
it was good. I think she does look strong. I disagree. I think she respects Deeb because she is savage.
Yeah.
And they sort of respect each other.
I'm all for this match away. This will be a good match for the title.
This is going to go off, and I think this will really showcase them both, which I'm really excited for. I think this is where Thunder Rosa's reign is going to properly start. I think from this match.
I hope so.
And Deeb looks strong because she has smashed everybody for weeks.
She beat Shida in that best of 5 they did.
Yeah, so she looks like a beast. So this makes Thunder Rosa look really legitimate as champion. I can't see him taking it off her already. That'd be horrendous. So
100%. You can't have her lose yet.
No. We had Santana v Jericho, didn't we? On this as well.
Oh yeah, glaze over that.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to this.
There's a lot going on,
Santana. Started off hot, he dived onto the ramp. He got loads of near falls in this match, Santana. Frog splash near the start, hit a stunner or something at one point as well. He got like 2 or 3 near falls as well. I thought, he's going, they're going close. Obviously, Jericho was always going to win, I think. Ended up being low blow behind the ref's back and then hitting the Judas effect. So not clean as it's been in this feed. My only criticism of this is a little bit, it's the same thing every time. The 5 guys on 2 or 5 on 3, and no one seems to come out and help the faces. I think it's getting to a point where someone needs to stop the Jericho Appreciation Society and actually come out.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Because it does feel like it's the same thing every week. They always end up on top because it's the numbers game. And I'm just waiting for someone to come and help them. But it hasn't happened.
It's obviously Kingston wasn't there. And now Chris Jericho's called the Wizard, apparently.
Yeah, apparently something that was to do with something that happened on Rampage. I don't even know what that was about.
Or is it not to do with him throwing a fireball in his face?
That might have been. I'm not sure. He
Yeah.
changes his nickname.
But
Like,
he does have a
every week.
new name every week, doesn't he? Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
It'll probably be something different next week.
So I think there's 2 other segments from Dynamite. I think one of them is a top mark.
It is.
So we'll leave that till the end. The main event, the Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
I'd forgotten about it, and I guess
Women's
that puts
Championship
it in good
unification match. I just think this as a choice of main event is strange, very strange for me.
I think I know why they did it, but I agree with you.
Why did they do it?
I think they've been listening to the criticism that women don't get time, women don't main events from a lot of people. Thunder Rosa even mentioned it in a promo that a lot of people have been criticizing the women division.
Well, imagine if you're on the women's roster on AEW,
and even Becky Lynch has been having a dig at it.
Yeah.
So I think they wanted to prove a point, which I don't think they proved.
No. Imagine
I think that's why they did it.
Imagine if you're Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida, any number of the women who have been AEW for a long time, and your main event slot is going to an Impact wrestler and Mercedes Martinez, who has appeared 2 or 3 times on AEW TV.
The problem with this match is it had no.
It's not the deserved. Yeah, and my criticism of this is they did not build this match up throughout the night. If this is your main event and these are 2, well, there's definitely one wrestler here who's never appeared on AEW TV before. You've never mentioned AEW TV before. You have to introduce her to us. So when they did this with Suzuki, they brought him in and they had him main event. We had a little promo saying, "Oh, this is Suzuki. This is his past. This is what he's done." Donna Perazzo got a couple of, "Oh yeah, she's the Ring of Honor champion, or she was an Impact." There was no like, "This is Donna Perazzo. We're introducing her to you. This is the main event. Get behind this match." They did not build this match up.
The crowd was completely dead for it.
The crowd was dead for it, and I was dead. I was like, "What? There's only 10 minutes left, and it wasn't even a long match.
10 minutes and an advert break."
Yeah. I was like, it's just a very cold way to end the show. I left the show very confused. I was like, this is a strange.
I thought it was a strange main event. I guarantee you. Well, I'm never going to know for sure, but I reckon that is 100% why they did it though.
Yeah.
I also don't think it was a very good match.
No.
I thought it was okay. It wasn't great.
Not particularly.
I don't think it was worth being on.
It was a mid. It was a mid.
I hate to be too harsh, but it wasn't that good.
No, and I know he owns Ring of Honor as well, but I just don't. I think it's not the right move. And I mentioned that in the Rampage thing. Both of their shows last week, they main evented with a title from another company.
Yeah, and the thing that I had the problem with here more than anything else as well is I knew who was going to win this match because Deonna Purrazzo is an Impact talent. She's not signed to AEW. She's signed to another company. You can't sign for Impact and AEW. That can't happen. And Impact's relationship with AEW is finished now. I know they had 2 of their talents on this show, but they're not appearing. It's not like when Gallows and Anderson were on there every week. And I think what showed a lot, and I mentioned it earlier with Morrissey or Big Cass, he got pinned quite quickly with 1 powerbomb, and Deonna Purrazzo tapped out here. And she's been booked incredibly, by the way, in Impact in the Ring of Honor previously.
Yeah.
I know she lost the title to Mickie James, but up until that point, she was dominant in Impact, like completely
Can't help
dominant.
himself, can he?
No, this is Mickie James.
Cannot help himself.
No, but
Mickie James' biggest
did,
fan.
She did though. She was booked so strong, and here they made her look really weak. And I think they just went Impact. Not on my watch. We've got Ring of Honor now and AEW talent.
It's kind of how Vince treated the NXT guys, wasn't it, for a bit?
It just felt inevitable that she was going to lose quickly, and that's what happened. And I just felt, what's the point in bringing? I guess they had to do this match because she was the Ring of Honor champion. She won it off Roxanne Perez, I believe.
They could have done this just not the main event of a Dynamite. Could have done this on a Rampage, on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view show at some point.
Even on Dynamite, but with 1 week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, or a Dynamite. Yeah, do something. It's just poor. And I think this. Before we get on to your top mark, and I do want to end on a positive, but I do just want to one last little comment here is I think AEW are now doing too much. I think they have spread their net so wide now that there's not a lot that is sticking for me. They are not focusing on Hangman Page as champion. They're not focusing on Thunder Rosa as champion. Okay, MJF Wardlow aside, and maybe the Blackpool Combat Club, Jericho, maybe.
There's a few things. There are a few
There's
things,
a couple of things, but like if
It's
you
not
watch,
like it was. Is
if
it?
you watch WWE TV, you know where the big stars are. Okay, bro, Roman Reigns, you've got Drew, you got Seth, you got Cody, you got all, you know the top people. When AEW are trying to throw in, I mean, there was we got why was that acclaimed scissor thing on this show? It's really random throwing it in. Like
hey, I like the scissor thing.
Like the
Leave it
Thunder
alone.
Rosa thing. Thunder Rosa got 4 minutes on the mic to promote a title match. We had Hangman Page and CM
I don't
Punk
disagree.
was a
I think we
small
need a
thing.
middle ground, don't we, between WWE and AEW?
Yeah, and also everyone has a belt. Samoa Joe's got a belt. Wheeler Yuta's got a belt.
FTR.
Mercedes Martinez has 2 belts. FTR have 2 belts. There's so many belts that the belts don't mean anything anymore. I really think they're doing too much. They need to just calm down. They sign a lot of people as well. I've mentioned why you're signing Tony Nese. I don't know. You're signing too many people.
Leave
Oh,
Tony
Tony
Nese
Nese.
alone.
No, but he's an example of them just signing people for the sake of signing people.
I get what you're saying.
They need to just have a pause.
Sometimes I like the fact they have a lot of talent rotation. You don't get bored of the same people. But
yeah, but they're bringing in new people. W. Morrissey, they didn't need to bring him in for this. They could have used someone on their roster. They could have.
I get it if it was a huge star.
Why have we
think
not
it's
seen
quite
Sean
exciting,
Spears v.
actually.
Wardlow yet? Why has that not happened in this build-up?
Because Sean Spears is pants and will get ruined.
Yeah, but
It
you
is a
do
character,
stipulation
not as a
where
wrestler.
you do a stipulation where he has a chair and thingy doesn't, and that I don't. There's ways to do it, but I just think they keep bringing in new people to make it fresh. And their roster's stacked. Like if you're a Brian Cage, you must be so annoyed. Like you must be like, what the hell is going on here? Like Joey Janela, Sonny Kiss. There's a lot.
Joey Janela doesn't even work there anymore.
Well, exactly. Kip Sabian,
Brian
Kip
Cage,
Sabian.
Joey Janela, and Sonny Kiss in one sentence.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
Sabian.
AEW originals.
There's a lot of AEW originals.
Yeah, where's Penelope Ford gone?
Chuck Taylor, Penelope Ford. There's loads of them that aren't on the
Not
Bunny's
too
another
bothered
one.
about Chuck Taylor, to be honest.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people.
Anyway,
that aren't
I
on
get
TV.
your rants.
Yes.
We've ranted enough at the listeners and viewers now, I think. But no, I perfectly understand. Fisher's
nice
going
to get
text
that out.
Tony Khan
Yeah,
and
cheers.
let him know for you.
Cheers.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I don't think I feel as strongly as you because I like a mix-up. We have a look at WWE and it's too much the other way. The same matches over and over.
I think Raw's currently quite fresh. SmackDown is repetitive. I think Raw is a good. Raw right now is exactly how I want my TV show to be. I think.
Yeah, there's still too many rematches, but it's better. It's a lot better than it was.
You didn't need that main event on Dynamite, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Without a build. You should have had a few builds.
Yeah, the problem is they're doing matches without builds because they haven't got time to build every single feud. So that's the problem.
But also, when you hear Excalibur try and promote the next show, he does it in about 30 seconds because he hasn't got enough time to. He's promoting 10 matches in 30 seconds. It's ridiculous. It's just calm down.
Right, Krusty,
end on positive, please.
Top mark. So we had a fantastic match from a returning Ray Phoenix and Dante Martin. When I saw these two coming down to the ramp to the ring, I'll turn into Danhausen again. Incredible wrestling. You knew straight away when you saw these guys. It was just a flipping. They were flipping everywhere, weren't they? In both sense of the words. There was an awesome destroyer by Dante. There was one thing I really liked here, that Phoenix really got Dante over. Although Phoenix eventually got the win with quite a cool finisher. I'm not sure what it's called. I don't know if you know.
No, I've just closed the tab, so I can't even tell you. Sorry.
But yeah, there were some amazing spots. There was like a Russian leg sweep off of the turnbuckle for both of them that they both actually flipped and landed on their front.
Yeah, and they looked at each other afterwards like, we're amazing.
Yeah, serious.
This match was so good, isn't it? It was really, really good.
I mean, Ray Phoenix may be the most talented wrestler of this type in the world. He is absolutely ridiculous. Ray
He's
Phoenix.
insanely good.
Yeah. These guys just complement each other so well, don't they? They really do complement each other so well in the ring. There was an awesome. I mean, everything Dante did looked amazing. He hit a mad poison rana.
He's so good as well, and he hasn't been because he. he was on his own. Then he brought him back with his brother, and his
That's
brother's
the
got
only thing I'm
injured
worried
again.
about. Have they pied off Top Flight now?
Well, his brother's injured again, so he's back
Yeah.
on his own again.
Yeah, his brother's injured again. Yeah.
Oh dear.
So now he's
that's
on his own again. He'll
that's
probably
sad.
get pushed again now.
I know he was out for like a year, his brother, then came back for a couple of weeks.
Such a
Now
shame
he's
It
injured
sucks for him,
again.
But yeah,
Good
Yeah.
for Dante, I guess.
I think they would have pushed Top Flight towards the tag team titles personally, if
Really?
Yeah.
because I think they're big on Dante. That's you know.
There's one thing I loved about this match is that I didn't know who was going to hit the move at what point, because they just was constantly reversing and sliding out of different moves, which is cool. Yeah, that's why it was my top mark. It's really enjoyable, really fast paced. One of the best matches I've seen in a long time.
Probably was
Yeah,
the
it
best
was
match
really
of the
good.
week. I think probably was the top match of the week.
Yeah,
So
good.
good top mark.
No build, but a fantastic match.
and I
Which-
want to say as well off the back of that. So that was the last Owen Hart tournament qualifier.
Oh yeah, we got the
So
brackets.
we got the draw for that, the brackets, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And interestingly, one thing I popped out straight away. Well, there's two actually. First of all, we got Darby Allin versus Jeff Hardy, which is like a bit of a dream match. It's like
Yeah.
the
Wow.
old- that's crazy that they're just doing that in a tournament first round. It's mental. It's going to be great. And secondly, it was Samoa Joe versus the Joker. So there's a Joker in this. Who like it could be anybody. But yeah, I'm not going to ask. Well, I could ask who you think it's going to be. I don't think we're going to either of any of us going to have a clue. Though.
Yeah,
That's
I
why-
mean, my prediction would be an released WWE recently released
it
star.
could be Cesaro. It could be
Cesaro
Cesaro.
is an option.
But would you
Cesaro-
have him
Cesaro
lose to
versus-
Joe?
Cesaro versus Samoa Joe.
If you bring a
would be.
release star in, they can't lose to Joe, but Joe can't.
But
Lose,
Joe
surely.
does have that Jay Lethal thing.
I'm thinking
he
it might
could
be
get
Jay
distracted
Lethal.
and lose.
Could just get Jay Lethal in there.
What to be the Joker? That'd be
Yeah,
well
Bit
boring.
lame, but
What do you reckon?
I have a
mean-
feeling it'll be. I've got a different theory that it won't be someone released. I've got a feeling it'll be someone from New Japan because they're promoting the show
yeah.
in July. Is it?
Suzuki again.
So and they have a
He's in the Royal,
Japanese
isn't he?
wrestler. I can't remember his name. Sorry, but he's wrestling on Rampage. I think it is this week. So they're bringing in a few people to introduce
Yeah,
them.
makes
So
sense.
I can see them doing that and bringing in someone like that.
I mean, what would be cool? I don't think they'll do it, but I don't know what Miro's doing, but bring Miro back for this.
That would be awesome.
That
Miro
would be
v.
a
Joe.
cool way to do it. Return
Yeah.
one of your stars.
I thought the brackets were very interesting because you had that. That's intriguing. Darby versus Jeff. I think it was Kyle O'Reilly versus who else is in the tournament? I can't remember. Ray
Dax?
Phoenix.
yeah.
And Dax is versus
Dax
it's
v.
Dax
Adam
v.
Cole.
Cole.
Oh wow.
Just quickly, I
Yeah.
thought this earlier. But
Great tournament lineup.
Before we end AW, I want to say Fisher looks like Jungle Boy today.
Do I?
Yeah, he does. I think with your hair down, I just think he'd be like Jungle Boy. So for those watching on YouTube, just
Nah.
Krusty, you
I
having
look
that?
more like Luchasaurus.
That's a good comparison. I thought earlier he looked like, but I can't remember now. I think you look
Thought
cool.
I wrote it down
though.
for the
Joey
down
Janela?
for the, down for this pod. It's not been a while since I've done it.
I think you look cool. It was a special treat for the new
Marco Stunt.
subscribers.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, yeah, top mark.
Yep.
I think we wrap it up. What do you
good top
think?
mark. We should wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're done. I don't think there's anything we're missing. Nothing important anyway. Yeah, I can't really see anything else from AEW that I want to talk about.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's it. Well, that is it for us this week. For those new to us, and if this is your first pod watching, welcome. And well, welcome at the start. But check out, we've got a lot of content on YouTube. We have got WWE 2K content. We've got loads of videos from our live show recently. We've got prediction videos. 2 are out. Krusty's is to come. So check out that one as well. I mean, check our back catalogue of videos. We've got a lot on there and a lot going on. So yeah, get involved. Follow us on Twitter at Recharge Wrestle. Get involved in our predictions league if you're not already. We have WrestleMania Backlash coming up in a couple of days. Prediction tweet is out and is pinned to our page. So get involved. You have a chance of winning a AEW or WWE t-shirt at the end of the year if you're the winner.
But just come in and have some fun anyway.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
show
if
us
not,
up. Show
have
us
some
up in
fun.
the
You can
predictions.
still win. None of us are that good. I think I'm first or near first.
I heard your insults actually. You were saying how you're great and we're rubbish.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
second. I'm not that bad. You're one above me. And I just want to state for everybody that I've said this a million times. I won the last 2 years in our personal predictions.
Does not count.
It definitely does count. You're not taking that away from me. I'm the undisputed champ at the moment. I'm Roman with my two belts. Acknowledge me.
Okay.
Anyway,
well,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, that was basically it. What way to end? Acknowledge me from Krusty.
That was a poor one. I wish it was better now.
It was good enough. Did the job. So yeah, acknowledge us. We acknowledge you as our listeners.
We certainly do.
And we will catch you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for listening.